Do you kind of feel like you're living in a dream at the moment? Like, it's fair to say the last 18 months, you've had like a meteoric rise in the comic book industry. And you faced, like, you know, over the period of 24 years of trying to get into the industry, you faced, you know, like a lot of rejection, and you've had to work incredibly hard to get there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you live in a dream?
It's a dream come true, and it almost feels like I tell my wife a lot. It feels like I'm in a coma somewhere, and this is the dream that I'm dreaming, because it's almost like not real. I never thought I'd get to even talk to Todd McFarlane, and I have his phone number. I mean, it's just like that doesn't make sense. And then I have, as of right now, I have the #1 comic with Monster and the Wolf in the world.
Yeah.
You never think that would ever happen. And then when the next one comes out, I probably will. I'm on the all-time list now of top independent books ever made. I'm like at 9 and 10 with the 350 and the 360, and that's just it's so crazy. And I don't get to think about it, like sit down and think, because I'm always working on the next thing. But man, it is. I'm hoping I'm not dreaming, or if I am, don't wake me up, leave me in that coma, let me live this out, because it's
Mark,
amazing.
we're all dreaming this with you, so you can't deny that.
And one of the big highlights for me, I watched a number of the streams, not all of the C3 streams. MJ Comix did a really great job with Mark Spears. That was on a Friday afternoon, so I was able to watch that entire stream. So if you didn't get a chance to go see that, I would go check out the replay of it, because it was just a great interview with Mark Spears. Now, I'm not a big horror fan, you know, per se, and, you know, obviously aware of all of the things that Mark Spears is doing, but I really don't collect his books, because it's really not what I collect. But seeing his interview and the type of person that he is, and some of the things that he did mention in that stream, I'm certainly a Mark Spears supporter now. I really thought he did a nice job. Thought MJ Comix James did a great interview with him. So definitely go check that out.
Oh yeah, check for the tickets. You're forgetting to open them and see if they're golden ticket winner.
God's sake.
I forget on mine. I'm looking through mine now.
I completely forgot to check mine when I was checking mine, but we'll do it. Should we make?
I'm just like, dang, I was gonna check after the show. Sorry about reminding.
So let's make me big. See if there's anything in it.
Oh snap!
What? Was there something in it?
It is. Let's go.
What does it say?
You,
on C3.
dude, I almost passed out.
C3.
You got me, MJ. You got me, man.
I planned this from the beginning. Mark, thank you for making comics fun again. Honestly.
Oh, you're welcome.
But
Oh my
you
goodness.
just sorry.
I almost passed out in my chair.
But it was cool. It was cool to donate towards a good cause, and it was a really awesome interview. If you guys saw it live, it was really cool. So it was a great job by MJ and his partner, and Mark just proves once again why he's such a beloved guy. You know?
Yeah, totally, in a major way.
Station, you're the greatest. I always appreciate the support. You always got my support. Love you, homie. Big things coming, even more so.
There you have it.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't have said it any better myself.
That got me, dude. That I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Oh man, that's I mean, genuinely, you know, I reached out to some people in the community, and they were more than happy to do a video, and that, you know, you've got fans everywhere, you know, across the community. So again, I couldn't say anything any better than how, you know, Robbie ended it there. He's obviously really proud of you, knowing you've in this industry for so long, and it's incredible to see you, as they say, make it. Do you feel like the blind bags have exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, I very much so. I worry, and that's why seeing something like that, it just makes me so happy, because I worry too much, and I worry that, am I oversaturating everything? Am I making too many covers? Am I doing this and that? Because I worry so much from wearing different hats, right? From a retailer's point, from a brand management point, and all this. And I kept promising people, hey, this is it till next Halloween. Don't worry, I'm not doing a blind bag every month. And there's a lot of people out there. Oh, it's such a gimmick, and he's robbing people of money. And I'm like, man, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to give people a good experience. And
the Mark Spears interview was incredible. Let me tell you, MJ is an incredible interviewer, and so the fact that Mark Spears sat down with MJ, I'm sure that it was terrific. I'm going to be going back myself and watching a lot of that interview portion of it. I know that Mark Spears was signing a lot of books for auction while MJ and Mark from Legion of Comics were on there. And I'm thankful that MJ participated in this year's campaign. MJ is one of my favorite YouTube channels.
And I'm also really proud to call you a friend. And I thank you for everything you've done, man. Thanks for making comics exciting again. And thanks for being one of us, man. Much love. We'll see you soon. Shout out to everybody watching the show tonight and everybody donating. And keep it up, MJ. Great work. Much love, guys.
What an incredible guy. I honestly, when Brian sent me that, I was in tears myself, Mark. So
yeah, it's man. I feel like it's my birthday or something, man. And,
I'm so sorry.
No, MJ, thank you so much for that. Thank you all. Thank you, Clutch, and everybody, Brian, and Robbie, and everybody who did that. And MJ, thank you for doing it. It's that's amazing, because I work so isolated, right, doing this stuff, and I don't get to see the reactions and stuff. So it's just amazing. It's great. Thank you so much for that.
It's very well deserved, my friend. And unfortunately, we've only got 10 minutes left, and I don't even think I've tipped the iceberg of what I was even.
I'm gonna have to come back on your show, MJ. 100%. That's what we'll have to do. We'll
100%.
For a hell of an interview during Comics Curing Cancer with Mark Spears. I thought it was really good.
Let me say something about that real fast. About that interview right there with Mark Spears was absolutely wonderful. Now, I have said live on streams that I felt like Mark Spears' work was, overhyped. Like, oh man, everyone's chasing Mark Spears. Oh Jesus, overhyped to me. Artwork is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. That man's talented. But I was like, because everyone was chasing his books, I'm like, overrated. I'm not gonna be one of those guys. But after watching James's interview with him, and how everyone was praising Mark Spears, and after him telling everyone, man, I've been working at this for 25 years, I had to make a decision. Do I draw more or do I work? And he quit working so he can draw more, and just busted his ass off to get to the point where he's like one of the most revered comic book cover artists right now, and he's the hottest comic book cover artist right now. Seeing this man cry on somebody else's stream, I felt for that man. I was like, wow, like he truly, truly enjoys and is very appreciative of all of you fans out there. And it made me change my mind about Mark Spears. Now, am I going to go chase his stuff? I don't want to, because there's so much hype behind it. But I do want to support the man by saying that that interview was absolutely wonderful. And not going to lie, I'll probably be picking up a Mark Spears comic to show support, to have into my collection.
I need to get you one
because of his story, because of what is this? I did not even know he did a Transformers. Tell me more about this. Now that he's done a Transformer book, now I'm all about it. Right? Oh, it's all.
That's probably all I can get into that box, man. So
Mark's gonna take off his shirt and his t-shirt and his cap and
like
throw that in as well as the.
Hey, you know what? Let's do that. You get the hat. You get to see you're getting this hat right here. I'm gonna see if I can sign it for you.
100%. James Mack, MJ Comics, who did a phenomenal job this afternoon with Mark Spears.
Huge shout out to Mark
Big
Spears,
shout out to
yeah.
Mark Spears for literally giving the hat off his head to make it happen.
There was even an interview with Mark Spears over on MJ Comics.
And apparently I missed it. I actually fell asleep before that started. Apparently he literally like gave away his house. He was like he was going nuts apparently.
What is up? MJ's in the chat. What's going on, James? He did a great stream yesterday interviewing Mark Spears. And Mark Spears basically gave away his house. He gave away everything. I don't think he's got anything left.
James, you moved Mark Spears to tears. And I mean, that's an accomplishment. The first
And then they sold those tiers. They sold it.
James is the best interviewer on YouTube, hands down.
He is one of them, absolutely.
You've been an incredible guest. Honestly, I can't wait to get you back on again.
I can't wait. This is all the fans out there, everybody who is in chat, just outpouring of love, man, and it just touches my heart. Just awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
You got a show coming up with MJ. It sounds like you're going to be jumping on with MJ soon.
Yeah, Friday. Where
Nice.
he was wanting to have me on, and man, I enjoyed my last time I was with him, and I'm looking forward to it. What a great guy, and I can't wait. So that'll be Friday afternoon. I don't know if it's live or if he's recording it, putting out later. I'm not sure, but I'm going to do that on Friday afternoon. So
that's going to be fun.
Hi everybody, welcome to Comix Creators. I'm your host James Mack. Comix Creators is a new show I'm hosting where I will be talking to artists, writers, and titans of the comic book industry. My first guest is someone who is all of those. He's an incredible artist, he's an incredible writer, and he has published one of the most successful independent comics in recent history. Let's welcome back to the channel, Mr. Mark Spears. How you doing, Mark?
Doing great, man. That's you brought some wetness to my eyes on that. That was because some of this stuff I had seen before, and some of it I had never. Because the reaction to our last interview, I didn't know that many people, it affected people that much, and that's great. I'm so glad that people realize how great of an interviewer you are. I mean, I've been interviewed many times, and I thought that was it's besides having a fundraiser with it, it was one of the best interviews ever. You're prepared, your stuff, you ask questions that I don't get asked a lot. So now the pressure's on you today. Can you make this can you top your last interview?
Oh, thank you. Mark, that honestly means a lot to me. That interview, that whole stream that we did together, I'll be completely honest with you. I think it's one of my favorites. I've done a fair few interviews over the past year and a half, and that one will forever be special to me. I'm extremely proud of it. We, together, especially with your incredible donations, Mark, we raised like over $4,000. So, wow. Yeah. So thank you so much, Mark. Honestly, it means a lot. But that was 2 months ago. A lot's happened in 2 months.
Yeah.
So, but no.
That being said, before you go to that, if you'll have me back next year during that event, if you're a part of it, I want to be with you on it, man, and we'll make it even bigger and better the next year. Okay.
So 100%.
Let's do it. I'll plan out a month ahead. I'll have some stuff that's really cool, and we'll raise even more money next year. So me and you tag team it next year.
That whole Mark from Legion of Comics, DJ Links, and Rob Fatsack Comics. The work that those guys put into that whole event is incredible, and the people that got involved I would be extremely honored if they asked me to come back again next year. And I would love to have you, Mark. So I think that would be amazing if we can do that.
All right, sounds good.
But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite interviews that and regardless of the whole, raising money for the American Cancer Society, just those bits there that I showed there where it was just like a deep and meaningful conversation between the two of us.
Yeah.
That's what really sticks in my mind as well, like how open and how vulnerable you were, because you are, although you're incredibly a talented artist, you are just a one, like, dare I say it, one of us that everybody was saying in that last stream. So you're a top guy, Mark, so I appreciate you coming back on.
Oh man, I appreciate it. I was looking forward to this for about a month now. I was like, oh man, I get to do that right before Christmas. This is a little Christmas present for me. Yeah. And I just like hanging out with you, MJ. I consider you a friend too. And this is great to get a chance to do. And I'm looking forward to what are you going to ask me? What are we going to do? So I'm like, wow, this is interesting. So I can't wait. Pressure's on you. Like I said, it's all on you today.
Well, like I said, so that whole intro, which was like crazy 12 minutes long, I just wanted to remind people of that great conversation we had a few months ago. And I wanted you to see the reactions of people in the comic community after having watched the interview. So what did you kind of, we were obviously backstage, so we couldn't see you, but what were your feelings going through watching that intro, especially the reactions to what people were saying about you?
That's what it was. Yeah, those bits that I had never seen before, because I saw the Robbie and Brian, and seeing those again was making me have those emotions. But I'm so isolated, right? When you're working, I don't get out to see reactions. I don't watch a lot of YouTube stuff because for my mental health, if I do that and then someone's sitting there saying horrible things about me, it just affects me really bad. So I give up doing, if I watch something, it has to be certain people that I know aren't going to be talking about me or something. So I try to avoid all that. So seeing that is like shocking to me. I'm like, whoa, there's these people that watch the video and it affected them. And that's amazing that, like the one guy who said he was, thought my stuff was overhyped and everything. And now he says I'm a Mark Spears fan. Well, that's kind of the consensus there. They were saying, getting to know Mark, I'm a Mark Spears fan. I want to support Mark. And that's just amazing because what did I do to deserve that? I'm like, wow, that they, because when people say, man, you're one of us, you're such a nice guy. I'm like, I'm just me. I don't see it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Because you worked incredibly hard and you never gave up. That's what.
Oh, and maybe that's what they're holding on to. And they're like, hey, that's, I just look at it as, I just did what I did, and man, I'm not perfect at all. And boy, if I could have done different things differently, I probably would have. And, but just for them to be like, wow, we're a Mark Spears supporter, that means so much to me because, for so many years, it was like, I don't even get a chance. I really identify with the Rocky story. Rocky just wanted a chance just to fight Apollo Creed, right? He never had the chance. And when he did, he didn't win, but at least he stood toe to toe. And that's all I ever wanted. I never thought I would be, I guess, if people say successful, however you want to call it, success is defined different ways. But if they go, oh, let's say I'm one of the top 50 artists right now or something.
Yeah.
I never thought that. I just wanted a chance to be in the industry and get a chance to do comic covers and comic books, and to be given that opportunity and finally get a chance at it. It's amazing. I'm grateful every day. And and then to get those reactions, man, it's amazing when people say that like I'm one of us and all that. And because I did own a comic book store, I was a big comic book fan. I mean, all my life, and it's just, so I get, and I have the same heroes that a lot of these other guys had, like Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee and Alex Ross and all these guys. I look up to every one of them just like a lot of people do. And it gets frustrating because I think there's a lot of guys out there who tried to get into comics and it just it didn't work out. And I'm the same kind of, hey, I got rejections all the way up until even after Spawn came out. I was still getting rejections from other comic book companies. Even to this day, I will write a certain company because I'm like, oh, this thing's coming out. That sounds really cool. I would love to do a cover on that. I don't care how much they're paying or what. It doesn't matter. And I'll still get rejected on that stuff. So it's, I mean, rejection's part of it. You got to have a thick skin, and people will say things about you and all that kind of stuff. And I'm better at it now mentally to where I'm like, focus on the good, just, focus on the work, what I'm putting out there, and haters are going to hate the other people. I try to be nice to everybody I meet. And that's just my philosophy. Just keep going. But those things really touched me. And that's just amazing that because because what they're saying is not Mark's such a great artist, but is not that great of a guy. I would rather be known as a mediocre artist or mediocre writer, but I like the guy. That speaks more to me than anything else. That's what I would love to. If you could say something at my funeral, say that, right? I like the person. You're right. I don't, because all this other stuff is really pointless. The drawing, the writing and stuff. Some people are gonna like it, some people's not. But if they like me as a person, wow, that's amazing. And I'm really truly honored that they said those things about me. It really touches me.
I mean, it's like, they're not seeing you as this massive comic book artist or writer, but as a genuine human being.
Yes,
and someone who, like themselves, has faced struggles, has come out the other end smiling. I think it's great. And as far as I'm concerned, that whole interview in that, what felt like probably a short amount of time because we were trying to raise money and we were doing giveaways and stuff like that. I felt like I set out what I wanted to do, which is the target for me is for people to see you as a human being, not just this superstar artist.
Right.
And, and what I particularly liked in that clip was the E-Man who was talking about, you're overhyped, so he's never got into you. He appreciates that you're a fantastic artist.
Right.
But, I'm going to support Mark Spears. But then he saw that Transformers cover.
Yes.
Which we'll get into later when we talk about artwork and stuff. But for me, that is exactly what you do. If there's 30 comic books on a wall, people's eye lines will be drawn to yours because they're so unique in comparison to, but that we'll get onto that later. But I just love the way that happened with him when he was like, oh,
if you know who he is, because I'm not familiar, like I don't know how to contact him. If you can get somehow his contact, because I saw how his reaction was to that Megatron. I would love to send him. I just did 2 Devastator covers. I would love to, to sign it and send it to him. So, I just think if he appreciates that, I would love to send it to him. So if you can somehow talk to somebody and get me an address for him, I would love to do that for him, because that was.
If somebody in the chat can get hold of E-Man, get him in the chat, get him to say hello, and Mark will obviously send him those things. He would absolutely love that. He's a massive transform.
The biggest thing to me is when somebody is a big fan of something like that, and I can do a little bit and say, "Hey, here you go. You're a big fan. I would love for you to have it." So, because if he's a big Transformers fan, and I just did those two, I would love to send them to him. So
yeah, he would appreciate that. He's a massive Transformers fan, and that's where one of us. You are literally just like us. You have family, we have lives, we have families, and everything else that comes in between. And like you were saying about, you don't watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that because for your own mental health. It's just like with sports stars or celebrities all perform at a high level. It's not worth looking at what people say in case the negativity gets to you and it affects your performance. And I think that's really clever. And as much as, I love social media because this is what we're doing right now, I do think it does have a negative impact on people's mental health. But it's great that you recognize that.
Yeah, I had to do that back after, I think when Monsters hit, I was still watching stuff like that. I would search YouTube saying, "Oh, where's the review?" Because I want to get the reviews. I love criticism, right? I want to get better at my craft. So if someone says Mark uses too much blue, which I get that sometimes, or I don't like Mark's writing style because of this or that, I love that. But then there's a point where it crosses the line into just hate, where it's like, and it's to where they just don't like me, and it doesn't matter like giving me pointers or anything. So that was kind of odd for me when I started reading that stuff because it stays with you. I remember I learned that in retail. If when I worked service merchandise, they would tell me you can have one bad customer, right? He will go out and tell 10 other people. But you could have 25 great customers that you gave them great service and they won't say anything to anybody because they just expect I should get great service. But that also is similar to this, to where in your brain, you have this, fight or flight thing. And when you read negativity about yourself, it could be, it's not just related to your job. It could be somebody's talking about the way you look or anything. It affects you because deep down, it hurts your self-esteem. And when that happens, it doesn't matter if 20 more people come up to me and say, "No, Mark, I love this stuff." Yeah, you do. But that other guy is sticking with me. Right. And, and you know what, you probably, because you're doing this, it would probably affect you too. If you're reading like on Reddit somewhere, that there's a group that just hate you or something, or can't stand your show or something like that, that affects you, even though you might have all these hundreds of thousands of other people saying, "Oh, they love MJ." So I learned at that time, you have to make when you're in the public eye like that, you have to make a circle and keep your circle. So what I do is, if there is something out there, like, you might have saw something and go, "Mark, hey, this is great. You show me that, that's fine." But I can't go search it myself because there's a rabbit hole, and you will go down a rabbit hole and it will not be good for your mental health at all. So I struggled with that really tough last year around December. And I got to where I said, okay, I'm cutting off all of that stuff. I only watch certain things, to where, I don't look up, I don't Google myself. I don't do any of that. I'm like, let the world have that Mark Spears and I'll have my own Mark Spears. And it's done great that way, because I just focus on the thing that I do, right? The covers, the interiors, the writing and everything. And let the chips fall where they may. So I do miss the criticism, because again, I think criticism helps you, right? Just like competition helps you. I love that, like the DC put out a blind bag right when I did. That was good. I can learn from that. I can grow from that. But I do still get criticism from my inner circle, and my friends and stuff like that. And boy, my kids and my wife will surely let me know if they don't like a cover.
Oh yeah, they don't. I imagine they don't hold back.
No, they don't hold back. And my friends, like I said, like if you read something and said, "Mark, I don't really, this is not as good." With who was that we had on during the last show that we did? The guy who was in the background for us.
Mark from Legion of Comics.
Mark. You know, he was great because he told me, and I took that to heart. I said, okay, because he was like, yeah, the first couple of issues, they're all over the place, right? And when I sit down to write number 9, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it a little bit more linear because I think criticism comes from a good place where people are trying to give you tips to make it better. Now, you can't look at all of it and say, I got to change everything to fit into these, because everybody's got a different opinion. But you can take those opinions and say, look, I can apply this and try to make my product better. Just like with the blind bags, right? The Halloween one, a lot of people say it was a big hit. And that's great, but I also knew there was some problems, right? Some damages. Because I don't want you to finally pull that book you've been looking forward to and it has a crease on it. Yeah. And then the mix where people were opening bags, 20 bags, and they would have 3 issues, you know, like within them, like 6 and 8. And I'm like, that's not a good experience for the customer. So we tried to fix those things. And this next one that came out, man, the Transcon, I owe it all to them. I just made suggestions because there's nothing physically I can do. And they knocked it out of the park. The mix is great. That little, this little piece of paper they added to the bags, which when we was watching you open them, my wife said, man, that besides it protecting it, it creates a great mystery. Because now you reveal it. And I was like, you know, you're right. And so I again, they improved. And that's why you do have to have criticism and feedback and stuff. So
what was great about the sheet of paper was when I got the glow in the dark, I was like, why is there another sheet behind it? I didn't like it. It just didn't. I was like, oh my God, it's a glow in the dark. I was like, oh my gosh. And
that's one of my favorite glows that you got. That's a good one. It looks awesome.
It's awesome. And I especially like that one because the normal variant that you did, that one has like everybody's names on it. So it has like Brian McClay on it, Comic Tom, Big Clutch, Red Hood, everybody, like, you know, Melissa Spears, Mark Spears, like everyone. It's awesome. That's why I love that cover. I think it's awesome. Has anybody tried to get it all signed by everybody?
No, I thought they would. When I did a signing in Florida, that cover was out, and I think Dennis, who's on that, made a joke because he was going to be at Jesse's that we'll be signing that, and I was hoping they would. I think that would be cool, but they didn't. But we did an eBay Live 2 nights ago, and for the first time, we did a comic cover where my wife and 2 sons and me all signed it because and I was like, let's do that, and we sold it, and it was. And then after that, we actually took a group picture of us all holding the book because that's my dream there, is because they are just as much a part of any success Monsters has because they're doing the things people don't see, right? They're editing, they're reading it to tell me, hey, I don't understand this, or hey, you misspelled this, or hey, there's a word balloon here that's wrong and stuff like that. So they're doing that. They're also, you know, when we're shipping things and stuff, they're controlling all that. When we're at cons or appearances, they're doing all the work. So it's really a family project. And that just, that humbled me and made me so happy to see us all signing something like that. That was the first time Melissa's ever signed something. First time Lucas got to, and it just thrilled me. And I want him to do that more. I'm going to make other covers where we do things like that. Maybe we have a cover where we each draw something on it. You know, I think that's just fun to have everybody involved.
It's great that you're such a family man. Obviously, Christmas is next week.
Oh yeah.
What is a typical Spears family Christmas? What does it look like?
Well, on the 23rd, we go to my sister's, and it's all of my family, my brother, his family, my sister, her family, my mom and dad. We do that. Oh my gosh, that's been a tradition for probably 20 years, and that's great. That's a fun night, and we do gift giving, like Dirty Santa. That's where it's kind of like White Elephant and all that kind of stuff, where you have gifts unwrapped and wrapped, and you switch them and stuff. And then the next morning we do breakfast, Christmas Eve, with my wife's mom and dad and her brother. We do that morning, and then that night we do some more. We go to a Christmas get together with my wife's family, and then so we got, it's just like nonstop stuff. And then Christmas Day we get to do that in the morning with my the kids, and get to open all their presents and all their stuff from Santa Claus and all this. And then that later that day we go and see my mom and dad and my brother and sister again, and my cousins. So it's a big family thing. So ours starts at the 23rd, and it runs all the way to Christmas night. And it's just it's the best time of the year. So I love it.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like, for me, Christmas is about family. I know, giving gifts is a big part of it, but it's getting everybody together and being in the same room, having not had that opportunity maybe for the whole year.
Oh, and as you get older, you realize, it's more about just the getting together, right? It's that's the gift, because you're so busy all year, and it just finally you can like take a moment and say, wow, I get to have conversation with some people that I don't get to every day. And it's special. The week after that, New Year's Eve, is actually my wife's birthday. So
cool.
We, she never lets me forget that. So we have to separate presents for her birthday. So, but yeah, the end of the year is always a big event for us, because we got New Year's Eve and we got her birthday, and then of course Christmas. So
yeah, no, that's good. Just to interrupt the flow of the conversation, but E-Man is in the chat. E-Man, I don't know if anyone has told you, but Mark has very kindly seen a clip of you talk about his artwork, and for your love of Transformers, he wants to reach out and send you some Transformers books. So
yeah, I have I just did this Devastator cover for Clutch for his bags that he did. So I have that, and then this other version of it, because we didn't know which was going to use. So I have these two new Devastator covers. If he's a Transformers fan, I'm sure he likes Devastator, because I sure did. So I would love to send those. If he can reach out to you or me or somehow and give me his address, I'd love to send it to him, because when I saw his reaction to Megatron, I'm like, I might have a Megatron somewhere too. I can look. But I would love to send that. That tickled me when he was excited about that. So, and thank you for the kind words too, E-Man. What you said, that was really really sweet. And I appreciate that. And I am overhype a little bit.
We'll cut.
Talk to my wife and kids, though. I am not overhyped at all. I try to walk out and do stuff and say, "Hey guys, I'm Mark Spears." They just laugh at me, right? And say, "Take out the trash." And so in this house, I am not overhyped.
You're not this big hotshot comic artist in the house. You just Mark.
They do not even pick me for Pictionary. Let's just say that they pick Chase and stuff. So let's just say, I'm not overhyped. So not here at least.
Just while we're interacting with the chat, shout out to everybody in the chat. We've got JSS Brooklyn, we've got Gemma, we've got Mike Cecilia, we've got Luis Mendoza, sorry. We have who else we got? We've got Brian LCS, who also complimented you in that highlight reel at the beginning as well. We've got Biggie, the immortal Biggie Shack. Thank you for joining us. We've got Kenneth Bird. We've got Dirty Diggler. We've got Comix Embraced 9159, who is saying you have to read Mark's books. He totally deserves it. Who else have we got? I don't want to miss anybody. We have can't see a different name. Indoor Sugar, thank you for joining us as well. We've got Painey 1981. Thank you so much for joining us. I think he asked a question actually. We've got Faith and Misery as well in the house. I think he asked about something about it, the remarks bagged and boarded. Are all the signed and remarked books bagged and boarded, Mark?
No, the way they did that, so the naughty list covers is what they're talking about. So 25 are made, 5 designed, so that's 125 that are put in the bags. What they did was I had signed about 5 each. There might be 6 or 7 of one, but I signed and remarked, and some of them I sketched on. And those were put in bagging boards along with the books, because we wanted to keep them protected, and sent to the printer. The printer, half of them they put in the bags, bag and boarded. They took off the piece of paper, but put it down on the thing, and it did it. So somebody has opened one that's been bag and boarded. But then half, so we told them, we said, okay, we don't want everybody to recognize that though, because you would be able to feel that it's thicker or something with the bag, I think. So we told them they did that. We didn't know it. So the last 70 or 75, they debagged and boarded and put on there. So it's different. So yeah, there's the ones, because that's a question we get asked a lot, because I think on the back it does say signed and remarked, and it should have said some. I think when we did it with Keen Spot, the way they put that on there, I would have liked to sign and remarked all of them. It's just we got the books and we had to overnight them the next day, right, to get them to Transcon in time. So there wasn't enough time to do that. Plus, I'm nursing a little bit of a wrist injury.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, I can't really. Last night it got really bad. I was trying to sign some stuff and it hurt. So that's another reason I'm taking off to what I won't be doing anything for a week or two. That'll help it heal much better. But it's just my wrist part where it goes left and right. And if I hold my thumb out and move it, that's where it hurts. So, but yeah, there's at least 5 out there. So we thought, well, that creates a little tier system. So you get one, that's really cool. If you get one signed and remarked, well, that's even cooler. So, so that's the thing on that, because I do get asked that a lot.
Yeah. E-Man said, "Oh my God, I'm absolutely stunned. Thank you so much. Wow." Well, that's Mark Spears making people's dreams come true.
It's a little I can do, but I saw he's talking about getting the construction guns to form Devastator. He's collecting the set, so that's awesome. But yeah, I'll get that on out to you, dude. I appreciate that, and I love when the comic goes to the right person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like when someone's like a big Superman fan and they can get that Superman book, it's like wow. So I love that. If you like my art style and I can get you that book that you like, it makes my day. So
shout out to Dave from Still Only 35 Cents. He actually he's based in Australia, and he actually got his comics stolen from. He had a storage lockup, and he had quite a few comics stolen. And then a few days later, they came back and took more. So I feel sorry for the guy. He's a lovely guy. He's from the West Midlands here in the UK as well. So shout out to him. I hope he's doing okay. But he's a really good dude as well. We talked, Mark, a little bit about you mentioned like Reddit and eBay Live and stuff like that. Speaking of Reddit, I wanted to show you a Reddit post and just wanted to see what your reaction is to this. Okay. And it is Mark Spears is the next Todd McFarlane and Kevin Eastman. How does that feel about that topic, you being in the same breath as those two comic book legends?
Wow, because I actually know both, and I got to meet Kevin last year or earlier this year in April, and got to talk to him about monsters and all that. And It was really interesting because I was like, I guess you're you would know what this is like. And he said, yeah. And we talked a little bit. One of the nicest persons I've ever met in my life was Kevin. We got group photos with him with the family and everything. And then Todd is like my mentor. Getting to work with him and asking him questions and stuff is just amazing. So I don't know. I guess that would be because they're saying, it is an independent comic artist that they're doing their own IP and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
I could see that. I would love to be that, but it's hard to even comprehend that because, that's they're on the like Mount Rushmore, and I just want a ticket to the park, right? I just want to be in the park looking at the Mount Rushmore. So I don't know. I'm trying my best, and we'll see when I retire what happened with my stuff, like with the IP and because I got tons of stories, tons of characters, not just monster stuff there that I would like to do. So we'll see. It's just hard to believe, that people are even putting my name in with those guys. But I mean, it is interesting because I do. Because as an artist, it would be different, but they're basically saying you're a writer, you're an artist, and there's not a lot of those guys out there, right? I remember looking up to John Byrne when I was younger, reading everything he did and all the art, because I was like an artist that also writes and a good writer. I'm sure there's a lot of artists that write and they're not that good. So, and then when Todd started doing that for Spider-Man and then Spawn, and then of course Kevin Eastman. So Hellboy, Mike over there doing that when he created that. I keep track of all those because I'm like, it fascinates me when you see, yes, I love Hellboy. When you see an artist writer that are good at both, it's an anomaly, and it really makes me focus on them because I'm like, how are they doing this? So, and I'm not saying I'm up there at all with those guys because I'm not. I'm just saying I'm striving to be, right? Because I think I tell stories decently, and the artwork's a little bit above that probably. But hopefully one day I would be like, people go, man, it would thrill me one day if somebody ever come up to me, like another company, say, we would just want you to write this over here. That would be like, wow, they think I'm a writer. You know what I'm saying? Because right now it's like I'm doing the artwork so I can write. And if they would ever do that, that would be amazing. But and I think I have good plots. It's just getting the words out, and the way I'm telling the story. I think it's okay, and I'm gonna get better at it. I keep telling people, give me a chance, it'll get better. I'm kind of new at it in publishing part of it, but and I think the artwork will get better. So and there's people that are on the journey and going to find out, and they're like, hey, I want to see where this goes. And but I'm grateful that I got a chance to do it and make my own, and Spot allowed me to do it. And I didn't have to have someone else write it for me, which is great because and Spawn 77 is amazing because Todd let me do that with it, and then came in at the end and said, "Hey, I want to help write that," and I was like, "You sure can. That sounds great." So me and him are going to sit down, I think, in January and do the dialogue. The pages are finished, so we'll sit down and fight over the dialogue a little bit and have that come out next year. And I can't wait. That's a dream project too. So
will you do that like in person, or will it be over like video call, or
probably over a video call or phone call or what I'm thinking, because I've never done that before where I co-dialogue something with people. So what I might do, I'll have to ask him how he wants it done. But I was thinking I could write the issue out or the issues and then give it to him and say, now you can put together what I was thinking, and you can go over there and go, you know what, that's good. This is better. Cross that out, You know what I'm saying? And say, let's have it say this. Because or we get on the phone and we're looking at it at the same time, like you said, on like a Zoom or something, and we just pull up a page and I'll say, look, this is what I was thinking when I did it. And he could say, oh, I can do this. So either way, I do think he needs to kind of know what I'm thinking, and I kind of need to know what he's thinking. So it's going to be a great process because the pages are set up to where even if we published it without any words, it tells a story. So I'm good no matter what dialogue we put on it because it already told the story with the artwork. So, but yeah, I can't wait to do that. That's going to be a fun thing. They were finishing up the Fiti stuff for Scorch and Gunslinger and all that. And then we're moving right into it. And I got to start doing some covers on that. Probably in January, I got to do the covers for issue 1. So.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I wish you every ounce of success with Spawn 77. 2 of my favorite comic artists, people in the comic book industry working on that comic. I literally can't wait. Honestly, I really can't wait for that. So I think we're in for a treat with that. Mark, I want to ask you. We mentioned a lot about talking about, all the different. We've talked about Reddit. We've talked about eBay Live. We've talked about YouTube. Social media has had a massive impact on the way the world operates. Do you think you've been going at this career for 25 years, just under 25 years? Do you think that the digital age has helped your career? Like, with the Kickstarter, with, the word of mouth getting out, with people showing off your artwork on different social media platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Do you think that's what, if you were trying it in the 90s, trying to get into the game, do you think the digital age has helped you a lot?
Oh yeah, I think it's much easier now because back when I would send in my first submissions in 1993, which was I did a Markman thing, which I did the cover here recently of that, and I did it and I sent it to Todd McFarlane to try to break in. Then I sent like DC, Marvel, and then I would do new ones every month, right, to send out pages. And back then, it cost me a lot because you're having to, I remember having to go to the library and make photocopies of stuff for like, I don't know, 10 to 25 cents each. Then buy the envelopes, pack them up, send them out, religiously, like every month. And then you would get some letters back. Sometimes you wouldn't get anything. So that's the way it was for me trying to break in for years. I mean, I did that for, I can't remember how long, but it was when the digital age came, when there was email and stuff, they still would not, if you emailed people out of the blue, they wouldn't get back to me. And the things that changed, the only reason I'm in the comic industry today is because on Instagram, and it's all because of the fans. I did the cards and stuff, and I was doing pretty decent with those. And I thought, you know what? I want to go back and try to do a comic cover. I never got to do one. I did interiors for Ultiman, but they didn't let me do the cover. And I thought, what cool way would it be? It's been about 30 years, or no, it's been about 20 years, 25 years. And I said, it would be so cool if I could do one cover so I can say I accomplished that goal. Yeah. And I thought my style kind of would go with Spawn. So I did a couple of Spawn images. I put them on Instagram and I put, hey guys, I would love to do a Spawn cover. What do y'all think? And then I think I put who the Spawn editor is. And everybody in the comments started saying, yes, you should, and tagging him in it. He wrote me that night. I didn't know who he was. He wrote me that night and said, man, it looks like I'm supposed to give you a Spawn cover because all these people are tagging me in your post. And he was at San Diego Comic Con, I think, at that time. And I am so sorry. I said, I'll go over there and remove your name from it because he's getting flooded, right?
Yeah.
I said, I will remove that. And he said, okay, well, when I get back, let's talk. And we did through email a couple of times. I think it finally moved into August or September. And he said, I'm going to see what I can get for you. You know, he looked at my stuff and liked it. He had liked it back when everybody was tagging him. He said, I looked at your stuff, looks good. We'll talk when I get done with San Diego Comic Con. So it took a couple months of back and forth where he said, let me see what we can give you. And then he finally said, hey, we decided we're going to give you 4 covers, not just one. And we're going to make this thing called Artist Spotlight so we can do it all in 1 month. And I was like, wow, I could do 4 covers. So that broke me into the industry. And after I got that, I had reached out to a couple of the store exclusive. I didn't know what a store exclusive was, but someone had told me. So I reached out to a few of those places. None of them wrote me back except one, and it was 616 Comics, John over there. And I told him, I said, I'm doing these Spawn things, but they won't be out until March. And he's like, hey, yeah, I can give you a cover. And we did Vampirilla over there. So that was actually the first published thing I did was that because it came out a lot quicker. So, and then I thought that was about it. After Spawn came out, they were saying they might give me another cover. They didn't know. And so but I was happy. I was like, my dream came true. I got to do 4 Spawn cover stuff. That was enough. And all that wouldn't have happened if it hadn't have been for Instagram and the internet. Writing, when I wrote Paul Kaminsky over at DC, all I had to do was an email to say, hey, here's my samples. In the past, you'd have to go through the mail and all that. And he gave me a job over there at DC. So email is great. You can do PDFs, you can do Dropbox. Social media is great because you've got, like I said, Instagram and stuff. That's how Rob found me. Rob Liefeld was, so he saw me he reached out on Instagram to talk to me for the first time. So it changed everything. I wished I was a little bit younger, so I'd have a little bit longer road ahead of me to do this. And because man, going from having to mail out things every week or month to be able to now you could just put art on Instagram, like that. I would have just tackled that with so much passion because I would be like, someone's going to see this eventually. I didn't do that with my stuff lately when I put it out before I got the comic stuff because I didn't know who was going to see it. I don't know who was following me that would be an influence to get me a job in comics. And I had given up on comics. I was perfectly fine going, I'll never get to do my dream of working in comics. Don't want me. I'll do trading cards. I'll do, I did sports art. I did, let me think. I was doing all kinds of movie poster kind of stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'll do that for the rest of my life. I can do that and not ever have to do comic books. And it all changed. But and again, dreams come true. It took 30 years to do it, but man, it was worth the journey.
It's definitely worth the journey. Definitely worth the journey. And what my wife here says about she loves to hear an origin story. I can safely say, right, I've been doing interviews now for a year and a half, and not once has Gemma asked me, like at the end of a show, she wanted to meet somebody, and she came in and said, "I like you," because she was literally like everybody else who was, watching it live 2 months ago. She really connected with you on like a, on that human level. So yeah, she adores you now as well. So you've got a new fan who, doesn't really like comic books, but she loves Mark Spears. So But shout out to
That's-
Manu. You got sorry?
I was going to say that's about like my wife. She doesn't really care for my comic book, but she does love Mark Spears, so it works out.
That's perfect, absolutely perfect. But we've got Manu, the 9.9 newsstand. I don't know if you know of Manu. He's a great guy in the comic book community.
Awesome.
But thank you so much for listening while you're driving, buddy. I hope you're driving safe. But yeah, so it would be completely, insane of me, Mark, not to talk about your release of the Winter Horrorland blind bags. Again, I have to thank you. I did a video on the trick or treat blind bags. You've already mentioned that. You watched my video for the winter ones, which here's the thumbnail for that. But again, people love watching people open blind bags and stuff like that. So thank you for making stuff fun for me to show off on the channel. So thank you for that. But blind bags were the release of issue number 8 of your monster series. And there are 75 possible issues that you can get
82 possible covers. 82.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So you have your standard card stock, you've got your foil covers, you've got your glow in the dark, and you've got your remarked covers available, and there's 25 Krampus tickets available.
Yes, 25, and one's been found already. One was found.
Wow.
Yeah, just one. It was found. I want to say it was yesterday or the day before, but it was found. I think it was the night of release. So it was Wednesday night. I get an email from Keen Spot says one's already been found. So
wow,
that's really cool.
Is that the video that Brian posted on Instagram? Was that? No,
that was for the Halloween ones. I don't think they made a video, but I'm not sure. It could be because I'm not sure. I just know what Keen Spot had sent me, but there might be another one already found. And with this day and age of streaming and stuff, a lot of these are found when they're opening up to check. So it's really cool that way. That's another part when you was talking about social media. It's amazing because of the people recording and stuff, opening blind bags. That's just people want to see what's inside. Everybody likes a present, and that's what did you get? You get something inside.
Oh, exactly, exactly. But yeah. So quick shout out to Houdini's Long Box. Hi, JM and Mark Spears. It's Chris at Second City Comics. Any UK appearances for Mark next year? I know a shop that would love to have him. I imagine there's quite a few comic shops that would love to have you over here in the UK, Mark. We talked a little bit about this backstage.
Yeah, we're going to look into it because my kids, that's their dream, and Melissa's too, to go over there. And how cool it would be to go over there and meet some fans. I mean, that's that'd be amazing. So we're going to look into it for 26. So
I think I mentioned this last time, but if there's any way I can help facilitate that, I would love to meet you in person, Mark. Yeah. I would just love to even see that, be in the same room, seeing the reactions of people meeting you. Like that would be, I mean, as somebody just from the outside looking in, like, I don't know, that must be amazing for you to be appreciated by so much people.
It's because I never saw that until April when we did a con here locally. And that was the most, before that, when I did, no one was walking by. One person might stop by and look at my stuff and buy something. But that was the first time there was ever a line, and it was kind of, crazy. We couldn't believe it. And then it happened in Florida in the summer. We stopped at 2 stores down there on our vacation, and they had crowds. And then we did a con in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and with only a 2 weeks notice. So we thought, no one will probably really show up, but I wanted to do it anyways because it's so close to my home. And there were lines waiting out the door before they opened. They said they never had that before. So it's just amazing that I've touched some of these people in some way that they want to give a little bit of their time to wait in a line, because I know what waiting in lines are, and they're not fun. But it's just, and I'm so appreciative when they do that. And then when I get to see them, I hope the few minutes that they get to see me, I make it worth the while for all the time that they had to be in line. But it's amazing. It's humbling. I never imagined that, right? You don't, when you want to become a comic artist or a comic writer, you really never think, oh man, one day people will be lined up to see me. No, you never think that. You just you hope that people will buy your book, and keep it going. But it's just a blessing. I'm shocked. And I can't wait to see people again next year. The next appearance will be in April at Huntsville, Alabama, Comic Con there, the Huntsville Expo. And I haven't seen anybody in person like that since August, 1st of August. So there's a lot of stuff to sign, and I'm hoping people will come out and see me, and it'll be a blast. But and I want to have an even better experience this time. Now I'm going to have like maybe 6-foot cutouts of all the characters, like 30 characters, so they can actually get their picture made with their favorites and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go all out with the booth and make it a great experience.
No, that sounds incredible. And if the opportunity arises for you to come over to the UK, you're more than happy to come and stay here and with me and my family. And any opportunity I could get to get you to sign my bride to them.
Yes.
Mark, do you think this is your most recognized cover?
It was for a time, but then I think now it's I want to say it's issue 1A, because that's what people associate me more for now. The Bride was for, I would say, for the first 4 or 5 months of Monsters, that was it, right? That's what everybody referred to. It was the thumbnail to everything. But now I want to say it's the group shot is probably the most used cover that I see out there. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking at everything, so it could be. But I know that there's these shops called Spencer's Gifts here in the States, and they also own Spirit Halloween, and they have licensed Monsters to do T-shirts. The #1 shirt was the Dracula cover for, I think it was 1C or whatever. It's the blood dripping in the background. It's all black with Dracula. That was their #1 selling shirt. So I don't know. Maybe that's the big monster image. They're actually coming out with new ones next year, first of next year, glow in the dark with all the characters, all kinds of cool ones. I think they got 6 more slated to go early next year. So that tickles me when I get to see that. Someone had went into Spencer's and asked, "Hey, where's the Mark Spears shirts at?" And they said, "I'm not familiar with that band." So it's funny. They don't know, because it is. I mean, that again, it's an outpouring of fans. It's who go in there and buy that. Spencer's writes me and says, "Hey, can you let your fans know that the shirts are going to be there?" Because casually, you just walking in there, you're probably not buying one, right? Because you don't know, what is this? If it looks cool, maybe. But the fan support is for the bags, for everything, is so grassroots that it's I think the comic industry as a whole isn't really noticing that. They're like, how is he selling 362,000 blind bags? How is he selling 350,000? And it's all the fans buying them. I think we looked at the data the other day, and it was only like 800 accounts or something. We kind of estimated even got the monster stuff, like the Monsters 8 blind bag. So that's account. So that could be a streamer has an account to, distribution account somewhere. It could be a brick and mortar store and all that. So there's a lot of stores out there who do not get any Mark Spears Monster stuff. So it's all because the fans, and I still have them writing me to this day saying, my store's not getting them, but I kept telling them, no, you got to get these. And they're finally getting in like 5. And I'm like, that's great. And that's what you have to do. But we have no big marketing machine. We have no big budget on it. I think they do no spending in advertising. And it's all the fans doing it, which is what I would like better. I don't want it to be where people are buying stuff because of the hype of some marketing, right? I would rather it be a fan tells another fan, man, I like this. You need to go buy it. I think that makes me more happy.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to our good friend Brian McLeod from Beyond Wednesdays, because I think, that the shows that they do on their channel are very respectable, and it's very respected in the comic community. And I think that has helped you. I mean, it's certainly helped me notice you, first coming across your work through that. So a shout out to Brian, because he's just, he's an awesome guy, and I love him to death. So,
the way I met Brian was because I had no idea who he was or anything. I think I'd watched House of Stein before that because I liked the name. I thought that's neat. So I watched
Frankenstein.
Yeah, and I'd watched a couple of those. He had backed the original Kickstarter in 2024, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, and I think he got like all the covers. So there's not many that got that, and like 5 people. So I remember packing his up and writing him. And then during the Kickstarter was going, he had actually did a shout out saying, y'all need to go over there and get these. These look really good. And I remember just that night alone, we had like 20 more backers. So, but I didn't know who he was or anything, but I had wrote him and said, thank you so much for that. When you did that, it really helped. And I want to say he had emailed me later on, and he finally got me on his show to talk. And so really, that's been this year. Let's see, this year. No, then 24. So in last year when the monsters were about to come out and stuff. So it was that's amazing to get to know him, Hood, Clutch, Leg, all those guys, John, Dennis, Jesse, and all of them have helped, because I know they get criticized a lot saying they're glazing and they're just saying that, but I really believe it comes from, because I talked to them backstage, and it comes from a place of love. They really like my stuff, and I show them stuff. Hey, this is what I'm doing next, and they're, oh man, that's awesome. So I really think they have helped my career just because they're super fans, and just the only difference is their platform that they have. But there's also, again, there's super fans out there that go to their comic store, and they're responsible for my success, because they're telling the guy, man, I love this guy. Can you get his DC covers? Can you get the monster book and all that? So again, it's 100% fan driven, with which everything is, but we have no fail safe fallback where we have a big owner, like we're not DC, Marvel, or anything.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just great that they love it for whatever reason, the story or the covers or whatever. I'm just tickled to death that they're supporting it. I hope there gets to be more readers, because I spent a lot of time on that too. But it's all the fans 100%, and I owe everything to them.
Yeah, and when those guys show off, because I have not put, I wasn't even aware of most of the Kickstarter stuff until it was too late. But like, I'm so jealous looking at the stuff that they've all got. Like, I'm like, what? Like if only I could go back in a time machine and be like, right, jump on that first Kickstarter, do this, do that. But I genuinely think as well. And shout out to John from Heroes Reborn. He is like the super fan. he absolutely,
Yeah.
he's just basically, he'll be like, yeah, it's like pulling out books left, right, and center all the time. He's awesome.
When he came to, I got to meet him first in Huntsville this year, and after I realized how big a fan he was, I started getting him when we had to price books and stuff. I said, John, do you know what this? Because we don't really look up, we don't do the aftermarket or anything. I was like, do you know what this book is? Because they were my people who were pricing stuff and putting stuff out didn't really know. Like, is this the first? Is this the fifth printing? Is this the fourth? John knew it by looking at it. He knew how much it was, what issue it was, how many were made, and it's just amazing his knowledge. I'm sure one day he'll have a Spears museum that'll rival my own. That I'll have. So it's great when you meet fans like that that know all that knowledge and stuff. It's amazing. It really is.
I thought you were going to say that when you first met John and you realised he was a super fan, that you had to get an injunction against him to start No, he's a great guy.
He sure is, and it tickles me to death that he likes all this stuff that I do, man. And and he tries to. He goes beyond like monsters or anything contemporary I've done. He's found things I forgot I did in the past. Like he pulled out signed Upper Deck cards that I did, these like playing cards at one time years ago, like probably in 15 or so. And he pulled those out. And then he's found original art I did years ago. And it's just amazing because there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people don't know I did because, I was doing figurine stuff. I did Marvel statues, DC statues. So there's a lot of things out there, and there's no list, right? You just have to go and discover it, that stuff exists. Magazine covers I did. John has those. So it's great. If there's something I forgot I did, he can remind me. He knows it all. It's awesome.
That's awesome to see that love that that he has for you. So that's great. JSS Booker says the Kickstarter cards arrived perfectly, as did the comics with a great T-shirt. Comics Embracer says it's not glazing, it's support for an awesome creator. People get it twisted. That definitely.
I think that just happens where people think, it's the same thing as movies and stuff on YouTube. Like I'll watch these channels that will review movies, and other people will get mad saying, "Oh, they're shills or this or that," and I'm like, "Yeah, I totally get it." But if you give something a try and you might like it too, then you realize that person wasn't shilling or anything. It comes from a genuine place of they like this. So I totally get though. I'm sure there's people out there who do something like that, who just hype up things just to hype it. But I hope it's there's if you just try a book, you might like it. There's a lot of them out there right now with the blind bag, so you can pick you up one for $5.99 and give it a read.
Well, that's what's great about them, the fact that the bags aren't selling for much over cover price. If they are very easy to get hold of in most places, but Biggie Shack has asked you.
There's 32 pages of story in the book too at $5.99, which isn't bad. We put
really good.
I put so much story in it that Keen Spot couldn't put a big index in the back. They had to shrink it all to one little thing on the back page because I was like, I want to give this oversized. I want this almost like 2 issues. So that's that.
That's great. Biggie Shack has we'll just ask. There's a couple of questions that people have asked, but you used to have a comic shop. What's some of your favorite PC books? So what's your favorite personal collection books?
Okay, so I used to own a comic book store. I did that. I worked there from 96 to about 99. I became like the manager in 99. Then around 2000 something, I bought the store. The guy was wanting to sell it, and I bought it from him, and I stayed there till about 2002. And I quit. The only reason I quit was to concentrate more on artwork stuff. because I was given a job to do some artwork. It wasn't in comics, but do artwork at home. And I just had a newborn baby, and I'm like, if I can work at home while my wife was working at the hospital, I was like, I could take care of my kid and draw at home and make a salary. So that's why I left it. I loved owning a comic book store, though. It's one of the best experiences of my life. It's because of the community, the people. Now, yeah, I didn't get rich off of it. Didn't make a lot of money, but the people who came in there, they were family. They would come in there almost the same day every week, right? Like clockwork, to pick up their new
Wednesday
books.
Warriors, they call them that.
Wednesday Warriors. Sometimes some of them had to come Thursday because they're busy Wednesdays. But it was like they would want to sit and chat. We would talk for hours and hours. They would bring food with them just to sit and eat, and it was just, they all became friends. They wasn't a subscriber in the box, you know. And when I got married in 2000, I want to say about 10 of my customers were at my wedding. I had asked to come because that's how close we were. They're just great people. And I miss them to this day. I still have dreams sometimes where I'm back at the comic book store, and I'm just so happy pulling books out of the boxes and stuff. So yeah, I did own one. So after that, I did have, my personal collection got bigger because when I left the store, I had so many books that I could, get from the store. So I had a good collection. Sadly, in 2000, let's see, what year was that? 2012. We were going through some financial problems and stuff because, with the artwork and all this stuff, we lost our house. And
I'm sorry to.
Yeah, it was, hey, things are different now. It's a long time ago. But
well, I hope
so we lost our house and we had to move out, and later on, the bank who foreclosed on us said, we messed up. You wasn't supposed to be. And it was a settlement, but then we only got like $3,000 settlement from them. It was weird because the process was wrong. They shouldn't have been able to, they did. But disregard that. Anyways, my comic book collection that I always had since I was a kid, the very first books my mom bought me and everything, all those books, I had, tons of valuable books like Deadpool, First Appearance, all that. Because at that time, they weren't really worth anything. No Deadpool movie had come out or anything. But I had boxes based on artists, right? A whole box of Alan Davis, a box of Ron Garney, a box of Neil Adams, a box of John Byrne, because I just was fans of all these guys, box of Todd McFarlane. And you know what? Some of them weren't in great condition because I opened them up so many times, right? To look at all the pictures, read the stories. But they meant so much to me. Well, they were sitting there. We had a month to get out. Well, we got another place. We rented another place. We were in the process of getting everything out. The comics were still there. And one night, these people that were hired to clear out the house came like weeks early and took all my comic books. And we said, hey, that's our stuff. And they said, no, we didn't. And we filed a police report and all that. Never got them. So everything was stolen, the whole collection. The only thing I'm sad about is the books that were, and they also stole boxes that had my original art in them. All my, I had rejection letters. I don't know. They might have got all my rejection letters too from DC and Marvel. I might have some stored somewhere else, but so that's sad because that's history. I wanted to keep that part stuff. But there are books out there, which leads to this story. So there's books out there that I got from my first books. Like there's a Superman 402 that's out in the wild somewhere, and it has my name on the bottom because that was the first comic book I ever got. So it's, if you could find, there's actually some people have asked me, Mark, write down the books that you think have your name in them because people want to hunt for them, right? And I'm like, I would love for one of them to be found one day because they're books that aren't really worth anything, right? They're probably worth $1 or something, but they had my names in them because I would take them to school. And I didn't want to lose them. So I wrote my name, like in print on the bottom. And so those are the most valuable ones to me in there, because I don't care if I lost, a bunch of John Byrne X-Men. I can go get them again one day. But that devastated me that I lost those at that time, because that was my reference collection, to look up art and all that. So since then, I've started getting a few books every now and then. I have a huge Mark Spears collection now, which I would trade that over anything I had in the past, because I remember when I first got the covers, we did a four spawn. I started doing a DC cover, and I told my wife, I said, wouldn't it be something if I can get 10 books, 10 covers one day so I could put on my wall, right?
Yeah.
That was my goal. And we were like up to 8, then up to 9. I was like, one more, and I got it. And it doesn't matter if they don't give me a job again. And then I finally got 10. I even have, there's almost Superwoman cover with Lobo. On the motorcycle, I sketched out how many, in like little grooves on the thing, how many covers I had done at that time for DC. So, because I was like so excited that I was almost getting to where I had 10 covers. And now though, I've done hundreds of covers, and I got monster covers. And so I'm okay. I'm not too sad about what I lost back then. And it was all an experience, right? It's the journey. You go through some bad times, and it makes you appreciate the good times even more. And you know what? I will have a wall of comic covers one day. I probably got 4 walls I could put them up in. So I'm all good.
Well, internet, do your thing. Find that Superman 402 that's got Mark Spears' name. Is it in the front or the back?
It'd be like right on the front. I want to say it's not on the inside cover. It's actually right down there, on the bottom. I don't have a book to show, right where it would be the. Let me grab a comic. I'll show you. So, like, if you open up the book, it'll be like right here, right on the front bottom, and it'll say Mark Spears in black ink. And there was a couple other books, and I'll have to remember what all they are. I know one of them was a Batman that came out around the same time, but I'll put out a list of all of them. But I know it's a Superman 402 because that was the first. The reason I got comic books is I was sick and I was home from school. My mom went to the drugstore to get me some medicine, and she knew I was a big Super Friends fan, right, from watching the cartoon. And all cartoons. I loved all cartoons. But she saw a spinner rack, and she picked up 2 or 3 Superman comics that were still there, and a Batman. And those were the first books I ever got. And man, I was like, whoa, these are like Super Friends, but I can keep reading them, and I can look at all this artwork. So I was in love. That set me on my journey. So I was about 8 years old when that happened.
You were hooked then. Speaking of, you said you had comic boxes that were full of different artists.
Yeah.
I'll just show you this. This is just full of Mark Spears comics.
Wow. I never thought that would ever happen one day, is somebody would have a whole Mark Spears box of comics. That's surreal.
And at the very front of it, Faith and Misery has put, I first picked up a Mark Spears comic during the free comic book day. Been a huge fan since. So this book here got you a fan. So that's what free comic book day is supposed to be about, isn't it? It's introducing people.
I loved being able to do that. I'm glad we did it before, Diamond had went under and all that. And I love that story. I was going to save that story to do later on in the Monsters, but we put it there because I thought it was one of the better ones. I've only got to write new stuff because the Kickstarter stuff was done years ago back in 23. So the only newest books I've written and was Monster and the Wolf, and did art for Monster and the Wolf number 1, 2, and 3. Then it would be that 0 issue, and then it'll be Monsters 9. So that's why I'm so excited about Monsters 9 is let people see the things I learned over the last year or two and can implement. So I think they're going to really like Monsters going forward even better than the other stuff that they read. So
Brilliant. I think Biggie Shacker said that's 402 is a Superman in an alley by a trash can.
Yep, that's it. That's the cover, man.
Put the list out there. People will find them.
I'll have to do it. That would be so amazing to know that they're there. And
they'll probably hold you ransom to them.
Well, and the local shop, and I knew who he was because when I owned the store, he had reached out to me at that time and said, Mark, we'll keep an eye out, because we thought maybe that's what they'll do. They'll go sell them to a shop real quick and dump them. But they never did show up in Huntsville. I think they probably ended up in Georgia. But with the internet, this was around 2012, the end of that year. They could have ended up on the internet as a big lot, or a flea market or something. Just never know.
So back to the blind bags. So how many blind bags for the winter? I know we had, was it 365 for the trick or treat?
Yeah. Oh, no, 365, I think it was, for the winter, 350 for the Halloween. So it went up. We actually sold
went
more.
Up by 15,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that just, did you plan on an extra 15,000, or was that just from like pre-orders coming in?
Pre-orders and stuff. Which we had thought we was going to sell a lot less. When the Halloween came out, and we were like, ooh, you're going to have another one so close that you have to order it. I think the ordering was a week after the Halloween came out. And we were like, I don't know if people will order these. They're like, oh, if these sell, I don't know if those will sell. So we were expecting, we were hoping if we could sell 200,000 units, we would have done something huge, because we would have probably been the number 1 and number 2 bags of the year. And still been on like a lot of list of like top selling independent books of the year. So we were thinking that when it got closer to the FOC, I kept going, no, we're not going to hit 2 because of all the complaints of the mix and the damages and stuff. So I was prepared that morning when I woke up. I said, oh, please let us get 140, 140, 120. I will still be happy. And, the numbers came in, and it was, I want to say it's actually 362. I want to say it's instead of 365. It's around there. But when that came in, I was like, how? This don't make sense. But because a lot of stores, we had the data coming in, some big stores that ordered like 7,000 of the Halloween bag, ordered 3,000 of the winter, because they said didn't sell well. It sold okay, but people were complaining about the mix and all that. So they dropped their numbers. Yeah. So that showed you that some people, though, increased their numbers more than the ones that decreased it. And we couldn't believe it. But yeah, I think it'll sell out at Lunar here probably before Christmas Day. They still have some left, for reorder. So yeah, again, it was amazing. So that really makes it the number 1 blind bag of all time is Monsters 8. The number 2 will be Monsters and the Wolf. And I don't know if anybody will ever hit those numbers. Because usually when Marvel and DC put out a blind bag, they also put out regular covers with it, right? So they'll have like 10 regular covers, and then you can get the blind bag that'll have maybe a foil variant or whatever. So ours is different. We put every cover in the blind bag. So we could have put covers on the side and raised our numbers even higher, but we said, no, let's make it where it's fun, right? So that's why it's all in the blind bag. And I think that record will probably never be broken unless we break it again next year. We'll see.
Yeah. And how do you feel like they've, we talked about this backstage, but how do you feel like they've been received this time round?
Oh, a lot better this time because of the mix and having that piece of paper for the damages. They also, cases used to be 160 packed in.
Yeah.
Transcon said, let's take out 20 and do it 140. So the weight issue is not the problem. That was what was causing damages, was so much weight stacked on top. Yeah. So that helped. I think they're being very well received. I'm hoping that people that wrote them off and said, I'm upset with the Halloween ones. I'm not going to do the Christmas ones. I hope they go and just open a few and they'll see it's better quality, better mix. Because I think they're far superior than the Halloween ones just on those particular issues. And I've only had, so they've been out a few days, or really a lot of people were breaking street day last week. So they've been out a little bit longer than that. But I've only had 2 complaints. And the complaints were, one guy goes, with the mix being so good, it's harder for me to pull foils. I mean, I can't, okay. And then the other guy was, I bought 10 and I got 10 of them in a row. And I said, well, again, you didn't get a duplicate, you got 10 different books. So I'll take those complaints all day long. I'm fine with that. And I'm hoping people go and have some fun opening these things. And everybody likes presents. And I did that. We changed the cover at the last minute from Krampus to Winter Horrorland.
Yes.
Because they were supposed to come out early December, like December 1st. When they told us they were not going to be able to do it till the 17th, I was worried about retailers because I don't want them having a book that says Merry Christmas on it, because it did say Merry Christmas. It was the Monsters Krampus book. I didn't want that to be sold in January, because a lot of people might go like, hey man, I'm kind of Christmased out. They've done a lot. So I was like, let's rebrand it to give shelf life more to the retailers. Because my biggest thing on all this was I wanted retailers to benefit from these blind bags. I could have done blind bags and went to Kickstarter. I could have done blind bags as an exclusive to just me and KeenSpot, right? But I wanted retailers, brick and mortar stores, because I used to be one. I know what it's like. The year's about to end. If you can get them people in there, man, they might buy other things too. So my biggest goal was to help retailers out with brick and mortar stores, and I'm hoping it does. It'll drive traffic in there, and they'll want to open it up. So that was my goal, and I think we're going to accomplish it.
Now what, my local comic shop, Untold Comics in Kidderminster, shout out to Rich's shop. They, I think he ordered 1,000 again, which, for a small comic shop, like in the UK, like that just shows you how much faith he has in your product.
Wow.
And, again, I went and bought like £100 worth, and in the, to help Rich out, I put the link to his shop in the description of this video, and they're still there. You can buy them for good price there if you can't get a hold of them anywhere else, so shout out to him. And
he could be holding one of the golden tickets, right? You don't know. Go there and get them.
I want to complain, Mark, because I only got one foil this time around, and then I didn't get 2.
You know what? I will probably have people write that and complain about that. Say, I bought 10, only got 1 foil. And I saw that. If y'all haven't seen MJ's video of his opening, gotta go watch it. He got one of the best looking glow in the darks. I love it. It was I had that idea because Brian McClay said when I did that other skull cover, oh Mark, that should have been glow in the dark, and we didn't know how to do glow in the dark at that time. So I'm so pleased with it.
I'll get it out just to show everybody that. I mean, I would love this sign, Mark. This would look phenomenal signed. That is.
Yeah, look at that.
Absolutely beautiful.
I love the red and green trade dress.
Yeah. Brilliant. Fantastic. That when I saw the back, what was available, this is the one that I really, really wanted. I'm so glad that I got that. And you can tell in the video how happy I was. But yeah, I'm really happy with that.
Shows you that comic book store he was talking about. That's where you got that. So he has some glow in the darks. Go buy some bags there.
Yep.
Don't know. He might have some more glows in there.
Definitely. That is definitely my favorite. But yeah, so how does it, we've spoken a little bit about this, people critiquing. How does it always feel to have people critiquing what you've been doing? As a person outside looking in, it must be extremely stressful having deadlines to compete with, you know,
Yeah.
Everybody with the internet has a voice now. How does that feel with people constantly critiquing, let alone your artwork, because we know art is
Yeah,
subjective
business,
anyway, but
everything. Yeah.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, it's odd because it's like everybody has an opinion, and a lot of people are trying. Sometimes it comes from a place of they're just trying to help, right? But it does get daunting because like you was talking about deadlines. I have okay, they were needing the covers for Monsters 9 and Midnight Man #1 4 months out from when they should be released. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why I have to do them that quick. So that's rough when you have 2 weeks to do 8 covers. And I said, I can't. So the reason Monsters is actually coming out in March is because I said I cannot turn in a product that I thought wasn't my best. So I didn't want to have to rush those covers. So I said, we're just going to skip February. Nothing will come out in February, and we'll have Monsters come out in March with Midnight Man in March too. So that's that kind of side of the business with the deadlines. It is weird because on the blind bags, there was so many opinions how I was doing it wrong. And my thing was on that, it wasn't things that I could control. I don't control the printers. I don't control the distributor.
Exactly.
I can make suggestions, and I can make suggestions to the publisher, but a lot of people, because my name's on the product, I'm held responsible, right? They're like, well, you should have done this, or you should have done that. It's almost like with the Kickstarters, I'm beholden to the printer. I can have a vision for what I want to do, but the printer has to see it through and to give it to me on time. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes the books are damaged. Sometimes they're printed wrong. That's what I've noticed when I do Kickstarters, and I have to redo them, and I just looked earlier today that just to fix something on the Kickstarter, it cost me $11,000 out of my own money just so I could fix it within a week, because I was I don't want my fans to have to wait. I don't care if the money, if I have to spend it that way, I got to have them their books. So as a businessman, I'm not good that way, because I think with my heart and I don't think with, the bottom line. But I'm also I think that's why people think, it says, I'm just one of us, because I want you to have a product. I don't care if I don't make much money off that product. I want you to have the product I would want myself. I want the blind bags at $5.99. I want to be able to pull a rare cover that's a foil or this and that. And I don't want to just pull someone else was talking to me in the industry, said, why didn't you just do 20 covers? It'd been so much easier instead of 82. And I said, but it wouldn't have been as fun for the guy who's opening it. Right. And that's my biggest thing is I want it to be fun. I want, if you get cards from me, books from me, whatever, I want it to be a fun and exciting event. So, but it is weird when people critique that, again, artwork, writing, that's a certain thing. I understand there's going to be criticism and critiques of that stuff, like we talked about earlier, but it's the business side. That's weird for me to have to handle, because, and I have to do things for myself that my, other people don't understand. And because, like Dennis Berger says, I'm in the Mark Spears business, and I am, and I can't do things that would maybe help someone else out more. Not a customer, that's a different thing. But like another retailer, another store or something, I'm like, yeah, but I got to do this for me and my business, and I can't do this for you. Just like with comic covers, I get offered a lot of different covers now, and I'm like, is it something I really want to do because I love the character? If it's not, and it's just for money, I should be going over there and making monster covers for my fans and not do this other thing. So it upsets some people sometimes because they're like, I don't understand why you don't want to do our book or something like that. And it's nothing against it. It's just Todd McFarlane said the same thing. Like, why do competition when he could be drawing a Spawn cover, right? Of course, he just did a Spider-Man cover. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I'm so excited. He's doing a Spider-Man for the first time in 30 years on Invincible over there, the Spider-Man Invincible team up. He's drawing Spider-Man again. I got to see it. It's amazing. Go look at it. That's just a big Todd McFarlane Spider-Man plug. I just love Todd's stuff. But back to the critique stuff. It's just it takes getting used to. But again, I try to have a good filter now, and I'm coming from a good mental state where I can separate that. Some people will still upset me. that will write me and kind of argue with me, and I know then like my wife will say, just I'll handle it, you don't need to be doing that. And but the best advice I can give anybody in any kind of situation, writer, artist, it could be YouTubers, whatever you're doing, is your mental health. You've got to be able to not worry about that negativity, like we said, and the critiques and stuff like that. Just focus on the good, and everything else will work out. And and I'm so much happier, man, when I started doing that. I was kind of getting depressed all the time and all that, because I'm not seeing like the videos you show me where the people are loving my stuff. I don't see that today. I see just my emails. And I really don't do a lot of social media, as in I don't read the comments much anymore because those reasons. So, and I get too busy to post and stuff. So you're very isolated, and you don't want the only thing you see is negative stuff. So, but so that would be my number one thing is for mental clarity, just focus on all the good stuff out there, because there's a lot of good.
So the especially as well, right? If you've got Melissa Spears backing you in your corner, you are pretty invincible. So it sounds like you've got a great wife, Mark.
I do, and two great sons that will work when they don't want to help me stuff. And no, they're so proud of me too, and that makes me so happy, because they tell me that all the time. But I don't want to cry again on your show. But yes, that's the number one thing that I learned through all this is about family and everything. It's just they're really awesome. I'm doing it again. Okay, they're good. They're all awesome. But it is, man. It's a great thing.
So I want to get an exclusive from you here, right? I want to know, have you talked to Todd McFarlane with Spawn 77 for blind bags? Has that ever arose in conversation?
No. I know that someone had asked at New York Comic Con, they had asked him, there's a video of it, and they're asked like a retailer meeting, and someone raised their hand and said, will they be a blind bag for Spawn 77? And then he said, let's talk about blind bags. He didn't really answer the question. And then he did other things about that would have been really interesting to do, because I think I could do them right for another company, But what we have talked about doing is a couple of cool covers to where I would do a few, and then Todd is going to ink over my stuff of my paints. That would make a cover. The black and white of his would make a cover. And then for the first time ever, I'll pick up my pencil and I'll pencil a cover. Todd will ink over that cover, right? So like old school style. So I'm excited. I don't know how many covers there'll be, but there won't be no 82 and blind bags. I would have, if he wanted to do it, I would have done it. I would have said, sure, I'm up for it. But
This
I
looks
think
cool.
they'll probably be about. I'm sure there'll be incentives and all this. So who knows how many covers there'll actually be? But I think I'm actually doing 1 or 2 for each issue, normal, and then I'll do a penciled version of different image for Todd to ink, and then the Todd will have a few. So we're talking maybe 5, 6 covers, and then they might have a superstar artist come over there and do a cover too. They talked about that. I don't want to give names, but Mount Rushmore names. So
wow,
we'll see. That'd be great. And I'm looking
absolutely
forward to it as much as you are, MJ, because I can't wait for people to see this story I've been doing, and because no one really have been seeing it, and it's a game changer. I think it'll just be something else, man. I told Todd in that interview, that you clipped. I said I wanted to do Spawn. I told him, I said I want my own like Killing Joke or my Kingdom Come, and this is it for me. I loved it so much. When I got done, I was in tears because I was done, and I wanted more, and I was like, I could keep going, but the story was over. And who knows if this is a big hit, maybe I get to do some kind of sequel, prequel, or something with it. So can't wait.
Awesome.
Yep.
No, I'm super excited for that. Quick shout out to Brandon from Comics Are Dope. He has a fantastic YouTube channel. He has said that Mark Spears blind bags went crazy at my LCS. Great stuff. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon, for saying that.
I'm hoping stores are sold out by Christmas Day. Wouldn't that be something that all the stores get all that retail can sell out, and then actually have a great Christmas at their retail stores?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's my wish.
Mark, do you want to be known as the blind bag guy? Is that
not really? Because blind bags are considered gimmicky. And I don't want to be where, I'm sure there's people out there that say, yeah, that's all he can do to sell books or something like that, which Monsters is selling great on its own. We don't need the blind bag for it. But if blind bags don't have the same, I don't know, baggage or whatever, that people will look at them as something great, then let me be known as that. Which I do think ours is far superior. We're giving you more covers, more cool things. Will someone else step up and do one just as good? Maybe. That's my hope. I want competition. Competition makes everything better. So, I threw down mine and said, make one better, and let's see who else does it. We got Marvel's got one coming out here in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yep.
I'm excited because here's another thing. In the industry, I want Absolute Batman to succeed and Scott over there. I love that. I love reading it, by the way, too. But I want Marvel to succeed, because if we're all succeeding, the industry does better, right? You don't want one guy succeeding and everybody else falling behind. If you're in there buying an Absolute Batman, or you're in there buying the Marvel bag on January 31st, you're going to walk by one of my books. Maybe you buy it. It helps retail out. It helps everything. It helps streamers, collectors, fans. So I look at it as, I want competition just to make everything better. But I also am cheering my competition on, because I'm like, hey, man, we all need this industry to rise up and be better, be the best it can be, where everybody's happy and we have awesome books that everybody wants. That's my hope. But blind bags, I as long as they're good quality and everything, and I'm putting them out, I would love to do one every year till I quit, and be known as like, it's going to be Halloween time. Mark's got that bag coming out. I would love that. I would love to be a thing where it's annual and people look forward to it. I like traditions, right? Because we was talking about Christmas and stuff earlier. I like knowing that I know what I'm doing on the 23rd and the 24th and the 25th. I would love it if retailers could plan on it. I might not have had a good September, but I know that Mark Spears blind bag's about to hit, and he's gonna knock it out of the park. That's what I would like to be known for. So,
well, I think that you mentioned earlier about your next blind bag will probably be next Halloween.
Yeah,
and Comics Embrace has put that in the chat as well, saying that one blind bag event a year would probably be best in his opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that I know we've we've joked on streams and stuff that we've seen you involved in, like doing Easter one,
Yeah.
Easter Bunny one or whatever.
July
But
4th,
I think
Easter, St. Patrick's Day, everybody was giving me suggestions. April Fool was another one.
Yeah. Somebody think of Mark's wrist, please, because he's already got got a wrist support.
I can't do. I did the math the other day, and I said if I could do one, it'll be one. All right, because look, when you look at the Christmas one, 82 covers, but now 30 of those were foils, right? So they're just variants, and about 10 more were variants of black and white variants and stuff. But I would need to come up with about 40 some odd covers. And that's a lot to do when you're already doing normal covers every month. So I would have to start now doing an extra cover or two a month and setting it aside. To do 2 of those, the only reason I was able to do it this year is I had card art I could use that I could put some on. So I only really did about 20 covers on each one, which is still a lot, but it wasn't as bad. But next year, if we do one, we'll do one and we'll make it even bigger. Maybe we do more covers inside. Maybe we do more special stuff or whatever. But I think doing 2 would just wipe me out. I couldn't do it. But I think we could do one every year and make it just a big, huge event. Have midnight releases everywhere, make it where everybody's just wanting it so bad. And I know one thing is I would make it where some covers you do not know there is no reference on the back, right? We would have maybe 20 covers you don't know at all. And no one knows until they find them, because that's even more fun. I want it. Again, I want to build off the success we've had and make it better for next year.
Yeah. No, that would be amazing, and I'll be fully there to support you with that, buddy. Shout out to Mark from Legion of Comics. He's now in the chat. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, hey, Mark.
So my next, are you okay for time, Mark? We're just approaching 2 hours.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So one of my main gripes with a lot of the stuff to do with you, Mark, is people don't read the story, and I'm genuinely not blowing smoke or anything out. Your comic, if I pick up a bunch of comics and monsters in there, monsters will always be the first one that I want to read, the one that I'm looking forward to reading the most. So I've got to give you dues for that, because that is, for me, it's been one of my favorite stories of the whole year. When you look at what's out at the moment, you've got absolute Batman just tearing. Everybody's after that. But for me, I've really enjoyed it, and I won't go into spoiler territory because it only came out on Wednesday. It's 2 days ago. But you mentioned previously that there was a big reveal happening in this issue, and boy, did you not disappoint with that. I was like, what? Before 8 came out, I went back and read 1 to 7, and I was like, what is and I was thinking, the boys quite. I'm literally about to spoil it. Then I gotta stop myself from spoiling it. But I was like, I can't talk too much on it. But I thought a certain character was going to be somebody, and obviously it's not turned out that way. And I'm very much looking forward to issue number 9, which you said is going to be coming out in March time. But when I was reading this, and I don't know if you've ever watched this movie, and someone's also mentioned it in the chat already, which I think was Houdini's long box. I literally have this on my notes on the left, but I get very much the Monster Squad vibes from reading your book.
I love Monster Squad. It's
yeah.
That's like one of my biggest influences of monsters. Even the designs and concept of the monsters I loved, right? Because they were different from like the Universal ones. But in the writing, the kids. So yeah, I took basically everything I love: Monster Squad, the Hammer horror stuff, Goonies. I loved. There's so many things, and even cartoon stuff like G.I. Joe, Master of the Universe. And I threw it in a big old pot, stirred it up, and that's what Monsters is. And I don't know, it's a thing where I don't know if I would classify it as horror, because some people will say, "Oh, it's a horror book," and they won't pick it up because of that. When I try to tell people, I say, "Look, it's all genres. It does have superheroes. You'll see Midnight Man's coming out in March. You got the first full-fledged superhero." There's not a lot of horror because there's not a lot of gore and stuff. It's just I have these characters that are associated with horror, right? But I love it when I'm writing that stuff. I knew the twist years before I ever did the comic book. When I was doing the trading cards, I already thought of that twist, and I tried to do it in a way that I can't stand it where they do a twist and they go, but you didn't give us evidence at all, right? Because I think that's a cop out. I don't want to do that. But if this doesn't spoil too much, but if you'll read, you reread them, so you might realize Maldor the wizard is talking to the boy, and the boy goes, "One day I think I want to have a all black suit and a cape."
A cape.
And then Maldor says, "Well, maybe a hat too, right?" But I gave these little clues all along, and even when I think the owl is talking to Maldor, he mentioned something about the boy. So all that the groundwork was there, and nobody has ever guessed it. No one. I think I fooled everybody, and that just makes me giddy with joy. Because I was waiting for everybody to read this so bad. I wanted this to be out there. So, and if you thought that was something, number 9 has a big reveal again, because there's all this stuff I've set up. Right, I needed all these issues to set up all the pieces on the chessboard. But now I'm playing chess, and I can show you what I had intended all along on some of these things. So there's another big, huge reveal in issue 9. Midnight Man, who he is, that his origin story has been going along this whole entire time, and you didn't realize it. So it all ties into every issue of Monsters.
Oh, awesome.
And you'll be like, "Oh my gosh." So what I wanted to do is have you a part of this journey, and you really didn't even know it. So when you pick up Midnight Man number 1, it is just like a companion piece to Monsters. Same characters are in it. But this origin story basically took place between issues 1 and 8. So and you'll see that, and you'll be like, "Oh man!" So that thrills me more than anything, man. The writing, and again, I don't think I'm a great writer, but I have great ideas. I think like ideas I would want to see. I won't say they're great. Ones I like to see, and I'm just happy that other people are on this journey with me, and they get to see those things. And man, because I've mapped this out long run, even working on what story arc is after this next story arc and stuff. So I can't wait for everybody to get it. One complaint I did, not a complaint, but someone did say, "You killed off a lot of my favorite characters." And I said, "Who?" Because I look at it this way. Yes, there's deaths in there, but what do they say? Like they're not dead unless you see a body. And then there's also like it's comic books. You also got to think I'm in the Monsters universe. The undead are a thing in my universe, so don't be too shocked. And if there is somebody you loved and they're not around no more, they might make an appearance later on in a different way or another. So but that's part of the journey. You know, I love it when you kill off a character that you didn't think that would be killed
People
off.
liked.
Yeah, I like that. I did it. I guess it's okay to spoil some other issues, but the kid was dropped by the Golden Man. And I got you twice on that because the boy's falling and he gets caught, right? Because I thought that's what everybody's going to think, like somebody's saving him. So then after I had him saved for about 5 pages, then I drop him again. And I did have some feedback after that. People were like, man, you made me so mad.
Kill kids.
Yeah, you can't kill kids. But and I like that kid too. Spaz was one of my favorites. He because the way they become such favorites of mine is when I'm writing it and I'm even saying the dialogue out loud because it's like I'm them. And I love the ones I love the most to write is like Mad Hatter is so fun. Funny Bones is so fun. I love doing the kids because they just remind me of me and my friends when we were that age. And then there's others, but like the Dracula thing, which now you actually know Dracula's real name. If you look up in the end, so that's what I kept telling people. They kept, you know, you can still call him Dracula, but there's a reveal there. So, and the very last page, I'm so glad that character is finally in a Monsters comic with that reveal. So, it's
I mean, I've got the last page here. I could spoil it, but
I'm fine with it. I've known it for a while, but
I won't. So I won't ruin it for people. But fantastic, Mark. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really, I'm a binge watcher. So like, if a show's released weekly, I just want it all at once. I want to consume it all at once. So I am really looking forward to rereading this at some point again. But I'd quite like to read it in a hardcover or a trade paperback.
Yeah, we're doing a hard trade. Was supposed to have been out on the same day this came out, but there was a printing issue, so they're doing it. It's actually going to be out in January, but they're printing it soon. So that's why it got delayed a little bit. There's going to be a hardcover and a softcover. Then I went ahead and told them, I said, well, look, we need to go ahead and get 5 through 8 out, and then a thing that has them all. And I want hardcover. I want something, nice. You can also make the soft cover for people who just want to, something a little bit easier and cheaper to manage. But so they said, yeah, we're on it, and they're going to try to get. I would love it myself if when issue 9 comes out in March, you can go ahead and buy in a hardcover 1 through 8. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So that's my goal. We'll see if we can get it out in time. But I'm that way myself. I would rather have everything. I wish I could get Monsters out quicker. I had talked to Keen Spot about putting out around this year 10 issues, maybe 6 of Monsters and then maybe some one shots. Because there's all these, it's a rich universe where I would like to focus on certain characters, but I don't want to take it away from the monster book. So like the Slayer could have his own book to tell you everything about him. He's very mysterious. You don't know a lot about him. Then there's other characters out there that could also have their own little one shot. So hopefully we do those this year because there's more characters out there I want to do. There's even more that I've already created, new ones that I want to bring in as well. So I'm excited, man. It's just I can't wait for 26 and to see where we'll be next year at this time. Right. What all stories will be revealed and everything. So it's a blast.
I think, I mean, I don't know what Keen Spot's capabilities are, but if there's any way you can do like an omnibus size collection.
Yeah, I would like 1 through 8 all together would be what I would like.
Is there any way as well, with 1 to 8, you could possibly throw in the Monster and the Wolf series, whatever that's got up to, maybe 1 to 4 at that point, or
and the 0, would be nice to have in that too. So it just depends how many pages they can do. I'll ask them because I would love it to have all that, right? Because and actually to have them in order, which has never been done before, right? because Monster and the Wolf happens before. So you actually start with it. Then you would have 0. Then you would have Monsters 1 through 8. So, and that's another thing I've been thinking about it. I think I'm going to do it. I don't think anybody knows. So it's an announcement here. Monster and the Wolf 4. It was planned to be 3. That's what the Kickstarter was and everything. There's a little bit more story I want to tell. We're going to do a 4th issue. So that would be neat to, like you said, to have all those together in a big omnibus. I want to see if I can get it done. And we've also talked about, a lot of people love the covers, and the covers tell a story. Doing a hardcover of all the covers, right? Wouldn't that be a great coffee table book? You got them all.
Yeah.
And
that'd be amazing.
We with all the covers, we'd probably have to break that up into different volumes, but we could put a bunch of them in there. So that's the plans for 26 is to do that.
Yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic, Mark. So if we move on to art then now, because I don't want to spoil the story, but art is obviously subjective, as you are well aware. I'm aware. Everybody in the audience will very much know. So with everyone, so not everyone will be a Mark Spears fan of your artwork, but for me, for me, certainly your artwork grabs my attention. Like I mentioned earlier, if you've got 30 books on a wall, like my eyes will divert to yours because, it's unique. The colors that you use, some of the colors that you use, I don't know what it does to my, my brain, with your purples, your oranges, your reds, your yellows, like it really grabs attention. And regardless of whether you like the art or not, your artwork causes people to stop and look at it because it's so different. And it doesn't just obscure into everything else, and I'm a complete sucker for it. But are there any artists that you like, new or old, that do the same for you when you see their artwork?
Of course, the legends we've talked about before, like Liefeld, McFarlane, Lee, Miller. The long boxes I collected was Gary Frank, Alan Davis, Ron Garney. They just resonate with you on a certain level that's beyond anything else. Buscema, both Sal and John. And I would say, of course, Kirby. So there would be different reasons I would study them all, is because some of them were better storytellers, right? Where it's just amazing things they put on the panel. Some of them were better, like with anatomy or how they did the clean panels, I call them. Then it's like Todd style was all messy, or whatever you'd call it, where he would have a panel that's boring but had so many lines just in the background, and it would just make it just amazing looking, because it's Stephen Platt did something similar, and I like
Moon Knight,
Moon Knight. So there's a lot of those guys I like. And my style used to be more like that, where it was penciled, inked, and mine's okay. I think it's could it. And I want to do it more in Monsters. I might even do a whole issue, like one of those one shots where I'm just penciling and inking, right? So it's so totally different. But I noticed when I was trying to get into comics that way, you're doing the same thing other people are doing. You're just trying to do it in a little bit different way to look different, right? Like Scott Campbell, one of the legends that's on the Rushmore for me, and his stuff looks amazing. There's a lot of people who imitate his style, though. I've noticed that, but there's only one of him. But I noticed when I switched over and started doing the digital painting stuff, I did it just because I thought I wanted to do some covers for magazines, monster magazines. And when my son saw that, Lucas said, "You should do this as comics." And I thought, I don't know. I knew Alex Ross stuff was out there, but I was like, I don't even think it would work time wise, could I be fast enough to do it, and would people like it? But I noticed over the years, after I would publish on social media a picture of Spider-Man I did or something, but in a painted style, it got more likes from the average person than if I did a pencil and inked and marker of Spider-Man. So I knew something was there. They like this style better. And that's when I went down that road and said, okay, I'll perfect this style, and this is what I'll do. And it worked for horror, but I never thought about bringing it back into comics until, they allowed me back in 23 and said, we could do these covers. Because I thought, I don't know if it would, even Todd himself said, when he first saw my stuff, he said, I don't know if this would translate to comics good. And then he gave me a chance, though, and it sure did. There's people out there. And again, like you said, you might show my stuff to 100 people and 50 of them say, not for me. I don't like that. It's too painterly, or it's too 3D-ish, or it's too this and that. There's stiff, or I don't like the colors, because there's some people who only like the pencil and ink lines and totally get it. I understand. But I do think it gives me an advantage to stand out, like you said, if I'm on a wall with other people who's using your traditional pencil and ink, and then someone's coloring it like that, mine stands out a little bit. With that. So, and I'm leaning into it. That's why I'm like, that this is my style now. And it kind of happened by accident that way. And it just, because I really never thought that's what I would be doing in comics. I thought it would be my penciling and inking and stuff. So it's amazing. And I really enjoy the style I got, because I'm getting better at it as I go, right? With anything, though, year after year, you're striving to be better. And I'm trying to get my colors better, my storytelling better, and everything. And people, again, my fans, it resonates with, and that's all I can ask for. But and I think I didn't know how it would look inside of a comic with word balloons and stuff. I was like, but it to me it works, and hopefully it works to the people out there when they pick it up.
Well, it's so funny that you said that you kind of like fell that way, because my next literal line of questioning is, your artwork is distinctive, just like other artists like McFarlane, Liefeld, Scott Campbell, Peach Momoko, Jim Lee, Alex Ross, Scotty Young. They're the type of artists where when you have like a virgin cover come across you, who it is. Whereas in like, it's exactly the same with yours. So it's funny that you say you don't think that's what that's just happened. It's not like something that you tried to achieve, like thinking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't think I needed a way to set myself to stand apart from others. Now, I knew that when I was drawing with the pencil and ink more, was you don't want to look similar to another artist, because then you just imitate. You'll never be as good as the original, right? You're just imitation. And I remember my style is more, it's a mixture of other things. It's you throw in a little McFarlane, a little Buscema, guys like that, Gary Frank and all those. But it's good. I don't think it's bad. Like if I do a cover tomorrow, I think people would buy it. But it doesn't stand out, because you want that every guy you just listed was the original of that style. If you think about it, there's been imitators of those styles. And in mine, it's got to a point where I didn't ever realize that when I was doing it, but I was like, now it's a style to where at DC, I remember back when I did a couple of covers, then they said, hey, Mark, you didn't sign this one. I said, you know what? I think I'm not signing anymore. I don't think I need to tell people who I am. I think they're going to know when they see it. And and we started doing that. If you notice, I never used to. I thought that was a big badge of honor, because when Todd McFarlane would do a Spider-Man, he would put by Todd McFarlane and all that. I rarely do that now, because I'm like, they're going to know who it is. I think people understand the style and the colors and everything. They're like, that's a Mark Spears. So I don't really think I have to now, and that's a great thing. I didn't plan that. I'm glad it worked out that way, because you want something that you can see on a row of all new comics, and if you're 10 feet away, you can say, "What that right over there looks like a Mark Spears."
That's the thing.
So,
It's one of those things where, you'll see it. It's obviously subjective. Someone's going to either love it like, I did and many other people, or they'll be like, oh, I don't quite like that. It doesn't, I prefer more traditional, or,
Yes,
but,
exactly.
Speaking of Todd McFarlane, we have a super chat from Comics Embraced. They've put, great job, MJ. Question, you are working with Todd. Could we see McFarlane Mark Spears Monsters figures one day?
I'm hoping. I'm going to talk to him about that. We had talked about Spawn 77 figures, and one came out, but there's other new characters in it, and I think he's going to try to do those eventually. I would like to team up with him on monster figures, just because that'd be another ultimate thing to do. And since I saw Todd do that Spider-Man cover the other day, I'm like, what do I got to do to get him to do a monsters cover? Because I'm very selfish on monsters. Like, I don't let anyone else do it, but I would let a Todd McFarlane cover on there. So maybe I'm going to see if I can twist his arm into doing something like that too. But definitely the figures. I look at figures from other places, and I'm like, that would be a great thing to do. Even if we could somehow get them in comic book stores, I think that's the only distribution we need. We don't need them in Target or Walmart or nothing like that. A lot of people don't know what the book is, but if we can get them in comic book stores to let them order them, I think they would sell well, because we need companion things with the books for retail. You got the book, let them buy the figure with the book. And wouldn't that be something you could even do exclusives that you only can get inside the book? I mean, the figure, like you did with Spawn 77, where you got the comic. So I'm hoping 26 we'll have news about that. I don't know if they'd be out in 26, because figures take like 6 to 8 month run ahead of time. So we'll see.
So when we did that the Comics Curing Cancer event, one of your generous giveaways, you had one of those Spawn 77 figures signed, and that was given. I was so jealous. I was like, that is amazing. McFarlane toys have come along, so they're a very good quality build. So that is a great figure, especially with the comic as well.
I love that one.
It's great. But what was the other thing I was going to mention? My mind's gone blank. So with Todd McFarlane, if he would do a cover, who would you want him to draw on the cover?
I think he would do great at something like the Slayer. I think that would be neat to see him. What weird pose would he put him in, and all that. But there's other characters too. Like, I could see him doing a werewolf really good. Frankenstein. There's oh my gosh, there's a lot. I don't know. I would probably let him pick, but if I could pick, and I'd have my magic wish, I think I'd like to see him do the Slayer, just because he does a lot of great stuff where the characters are in black, like Venom, or black costume Spider-Man when you did that, and he, of course, Spawn and stuff. So I think that would look great, is if he did a good Slayer. The way he can bend everything, and the hands and all that kind of stuff, it'd be just amazing looking, creepy. I love it.
Can I ask a question about your Monsters universe?
Yeah.
Do aliens exist in the Monsters universe? Because I'm pretty sure Brian McClay would absolutely love that.
Yes, they do. Because I'm taking things from old horror movies, right, where You know, you had the classic monsters, and then it went into monsters like, you know, it was the atomic age monsters and stuff like that that age. Then you had aliens kind of stuff and all that. But yes, aliens do exist. And you might see one in 2026, which actually you might have already seen one now, technically, but I can't reveal it. You might have already seen one. So yes, they exist.
Amazing.
So yep.
Well, that's awesome. Right. So this next question, and this infuriates me. As somebody, Mark, who has done a few videos about you now, where I've done the blind bags and I've reviewed monsters. There's some comments that I get where people say that your artwork is AI and stuff like that.
Right.
That is incredibly, to me, that's insulting anyway. But your artwork, I can't think of AI getting, you know, your artwork is that good. There's no way AI could do that, right? And second of all, it's got to be, AI is not consistent.
No.
But you did a post back in January last year where you showed your process, which I've got an image of here, which you know is a great way of explaining how your artwork. And the frustration for me is that, and I'm guessing you have this same frustration, is people just say, "Oh, that's AI." They don't do any research, and they don't try and
they don't understand it, and they think I guess it's a compliment saying they think it looks good, but they think it's not human. So this is like my process here. So a lot of times I'll lay it like for this. This was a cover actually. Did this come out with the blind bag? I can't remember if I did this one.
I can tell you this came out with the Monster Wolf blind bag.
Monster Wolf one. Okay. So yeah, I did this back in January. So I started out with a little, I was like, what do I want to do? So I sketched a little quick sketch. It was like a little doodle. Then I was like, well, what would the colors be? Right. So I give me a little bit of a color palette. Sometimes I won't do that, but sometimes I do, just to say, because sometimes I'll do that and then I change my mind and the background is different and all that. So I have like 3D models of all my monsters, of all my characters. I even have 3D models of all the characters I do that aren't mine, like when I do a Superman, when I do a Spawn, all this. So that's where when you do a first cover, the time is doing that, right? That it's time consuming to come up with the model, right? Because you have to do all that modeling and morphing and all that stuff. Once you got it, it's easier. So then there's like a 3D render, which looks pretty good. I mean, I could actually, it's not going to be perfect because I'm not a great 3D modeler and my models aren't that great, but that doesn't look too bad, right? The 3D render one on the bottom left. You could probably put that out as a
cover,
really, honestly, and it wouldn't be that bad. Then then I put it into Photoshop and I paint over that, and that's where I get like the painting part right there. Then the finished part. So what I do is I go in there and I paint over it and everything, get it all looking good. And sometimes it'll change a little bit from the original 3D render to that, because I'll say like I want to change the hair, or I'll change the expression or whatever. And then the finished is, finishing it all out with the colors and the painting and all that, and then until I get to a point where I think it looks good. But yeah, that's something that I wish I could have hit in the industry 10 years earlier, and that wouldn't have been a thing. But when I hit is right when a lot of other people were doing AI stuff and all that. But a lot of my covers, like especially for like the bags and stuff, were done years before AI ever existed, because it was and so at first I was trying to argue with them and all that stuff, and then I was like, you know what, I'm done. So I put that out there. Some people ask like, well, I want to see video process of all of it from start to finish and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. It's time consuming, but also have little things like my brushes and everything to where, yeah, I could show you, but then it's like, I don't want imitators of my stuff either. You know what I mean? I don't want people going, oh, okay, so Mark does it this way and that way. So that's the only reason I don't want to do that. I don't mind showing video processes of certain parts and stuff. And there's video of me drawing Spawn and stuff out there where I did it on like a Discord and stuff. But yes, the reason, and I also get it criticized on both levels, like, oh, it's AI, and then I get, oh, it's just 3D. Yeah,
well, I can tell you, Mark, the finished product that is that cover.
Yeah,
but this is genuinely one of my favorite covers.
Oh, thank you.
And when I got this in foil, I was so happy. But I mean, you know, we talked the last time round in the last interview. You did a lot of work with statues, and you learnt this, you know, 3D rendering and stuff during that back in the day.
When we talked about earlier, when I left the comic book store in 2002, the job I was giving to at home, which I don't know many people know this, was creating 3D models and 3D. Because when you say a 3D model, a lot of people don't understand. Oh, okay, you can model that. No, you're also doing the texture maps, right? You're painting those to go on to the 3D model, and so you're doing. Nowadays, it's not just texture maps, it's normal maps, height maps, there's displacement maps and all this kind of stuff. And that gives it all the lighting. It's all about lighting and when you're trying to paint an image. So so I've been doing 3D modeling stuff for, oh my gosh, 23 years. So I had to jump ahead than other people on stuff like that. And then, so I combined basically all the stuff I could do, 3D modeling stuff, digital painting, which I learned when I was at Corgi doing Batmobiles for Batman. Like you had to render and all that. So I learned digital painting there, and then just my regular traditional artwork. So you combine them all three, and that's what I got now. And yeah, it's neat. It's just like, dude, you couldn't have wrote a better story where all these little things I had to do along the way got me to the style I have now, right? And again, some people don't like it. I get it. I would rather they not like it because they think it's too 3D or something, and they want more traditional. Than them not liking it because they think it's AI. You know, no, it's.
I think probably maybe where, you know, the AI thing probably more comes into it is how quickly covers are turned out.
Well, yeah, they're saying how can you do 80 covers in 2 months or 3 months period for the line bags? But like I said, we're talking about maybe I had the trading cards. If they would do research, we did. I had probably 150 images from both trading card sets. And three actually. I had 3 sets: the original one, then the Halloween edition, and then we did a series 2. So I had so much comic art that I could use for covers. And then, but like if I'd sit down, if you said, "Hey, I need a cover for Monsters or Superman or Spawn or something," if it's something I've already got a 3D model on, I still need about like 3 days. Right. Give me, I would love to have the more time, the better it's going to look. Give me even more if I could. Because when I say 3 days, that's probably a 12-hour day, 14 hours. Yeah. That's just getting up, sleeping and working, nothing else. Rob had a video out there saying, Mark turned around this Youngblood cover in 1 day. Kinda. It was about 2.5 days or 1.5 days. But what I did when I told him I would do it, I was so paranoid. Can I do it? Right. That's the thing. I accepted it. And then I was like, I don't have these models. I don't know what images I could do. So, there's tricks to the trade where you're doing hero shots. That means it's just like a straight on, the hero standing posed. That's the easiest thing to do. So that cover, it was hard because it took me probably a day. We're working all night long. I stay up at night and work to get all the modeling, layout, and everything done, and then a day to probably paint it all. And I was worried because I was so worried I wouldn't be able to do it, and I was consumed with it, and that's why I did it that quick. But yeah, it takes a while. But yeah, I think the turnaround, they're like, there's either Mark is doing that or he's got some kind of team doing all these art for him in the background, or something. But no, it's just me. And some of them look good, some of them look bad. And I did a lot of like monsters. I could not get work in 23 after Spawn came out. So I had from March until I did a few DC covers in late that year that didn't come out to the next year. But I had about 10 months, no work at all to work on monsters and stuff because for the Kickstarter covers, the interiors and all that, because I couldn't get any work. So, but yeah, it's tough, but yeah, it's I don't know. I was worried about in the industry if they would even accept it being using 3D models as a reference. Some people don't like that. They're against it. Yeah. I saw Bjorn Barons do it, and I was like, oh, okay. People like his work. Maybe that'll be okay. Because here's the thing: to do it a different way, I would have to do this. I would have to have people come over to my house. I would dress them up as my monsters, right? And maybe put some prosthetics on, whatever. Or just, you really would just want the lighting. If they just kind of look like my characters. Take photos, right, with good lighting and all this. The exact same thing like Alex Ross would do. And then I use those photos as my reference and do it that way. I just didn't have no friends to do that. So, and I was like, I'm decently skilled, very low, but I can do a little bit of 3D modeling. So I was like, what if I do that? And then that was the brainstorm when I had it. I said, then I don't have to worry about ever having a reference again for that, because you control the model, you own it. And so that's when I was like, it could be done where you could do these for interiors if you already have all that done. So that's how it all worked out. Wow. But and again, some people like it, so I'm grateful that they do, and that the ones that don't, I understand.
Yeah, that fair play to you. You've as you said, you've got a toolbox. You've worked so many jobs over 25, 30 years. You pop those tools in the toolbox when you've done a job, and then at the end, you've gone out to do a big job and you've used them. So fair play. That's all I can say. But like you said, your art is completely subjective. It's not for everybody.
Oh yeah,
but
exactly.
I think it's fantastic, Mark. Comics Embraced, thank you so much for another super chat. They have asked, Mark, I'm assuming you love classic horror movies. What is some of your favorites?
I love 70s horror movies like Halloween, Exorcist, the 80s horror movies like, oh my gosh, all the Friday 13th, Phantasm, Nightmare on Elm Street, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But then I like the classic stuff, like he's talking about all the Universal stuff. I like that era from like the 30s all the way up to the 60s. All that stuff is good. All the Hammer stuff. I'll watch old ones where black and white and they go off into space or something. As an artist and a writer, all that stuff I just consume, because even if it's not a great plot or something, I can see how they shot it, right? How did they use angles? And then a lot of times I'll go like, that's a neat plot point. I could use something like that. So, but again, I like all horror movies just about. I think Stephen King said he's never saw a bad horror movie, because even though they might be badly written and acted and all that, it only promises you one thing: horror. So I'm with him, though there are some that's really hard to get through, but fast forward. But I love all horror, supernatural, slashers, all of it. And monsters. I just gravitate toward monsters because to me, superheroes and monsters are not really that different at all. There's just like what side you could say that some of the Batman villains are monsters. I mean, is Joker not a monster? Is Killer Croc not a monster? Scarecrow and all those guys. So
well, can I say something? So you said earlier that you enjoyed writing for Funny Bones and the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
I mean, the Joker couldn't be, if there were lines, they're very similar.
Yeah. Very similar. And Joker was always one of my favorites to draw and read about growing up. So those are like my homage to Joker because it's and you'll really get to see that in issue 9. It's a Mad Hatter centric story. And it's I love those two because they're almost like a little bit of Joker in both. And it's two different sides of that. And Hyde, which you hadn't got to see yet, he's similar to that. I love those kind of characters. It just tickles me to death when I get to write those. And Joker's a great influence. I love trying to think of other ones. Lex Luthor is always a great villain, but to me, he should be the mad scientist. I didn't like him as much as like the president and all this, as much as the older Lex Luthor, where he had the X on his chest and all that. So, but Marvel's got some great villains and stuff too. So I try to look at all that stuff and go, why do I like this? What parts of it make me like it? And then write that down. So then I can recall that later on as if I'm trying to create something. So, because we're all just, everything is mimicked of something else now. Everything's been just about made. So so that's what I kind of do.
Well, with the Joker, it must be such a fun character to play as an actor. It's like a revered character, just because how sometimes it probably can be quite tiresome to play the good guy and just be straight laced and keeping it. So it must be fun to just go off the rails and have a bit of fun. But in terms of Mark, a question from me: are there, there's some great TV shows out there at the moment. So you got Stranger Things. I don't know if you watched that, or that Welcome to Dairy just came out.
I watched. Yep, I'm a big fan. We watched them all, both of those shows. I thought Welcome to Dairy was a shocking surprise. I didn't know how good it would be, and man, I loved it. I loved it. Same thing with Stranger Things too, though.
Yeah. Welcome to Derry. That final episode, I was like, oh, this is great. Absolutely brilliant. The guy, Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise, he was. I mean, as much as I love the Tim Curry version, like he is a great Pennywise. But that finale was great. And Stranger Things, I'll give a shout out to my daughter Maisie. She absolutely loves Stranger Things. We watch it as a family, and Christmas Day we cannot wait.
Oh, I know. I gotta watch them. I'm glad that's coming out that night, so we'll have something we do, gather around the TV and watch it. Because man, and that is so good too. I'm gonna be sad when it's gone. Welcome to Dairy. We got like another year or two. Who knows when they'll come out with the next season? But at least it'll be out there. But I love that kind of stuff where you get these things that you just cannot wait to watch. I miss that. You don't have a lot of that in TV anymore. But those two were just so big in my life this last month or so, because I was just couldn't wait till the next day to watch like Stranger Things. I broke it up over a couple of days, and then Dairy, we had to wait a week. But boy, you know what? That made my week go better because I was like, can't wait for Dairy to come out on a Sunday. So,
Mark,
it's
you're making
there's more. Go ahead.
Mark, you are making me wait until March until Monsters. Imagine how I feel.
Yes, I know, and boy, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be really cool.
No, I can't wait.
I hope to get to a point where we could do a Monsters monthly. That would be awesome. just because I'm with you. I would rather it be like, I know it's the last Wednesday of the month, but Monsters will be out. You know, I want people to have that to look forward to. So we might try to switch it up to do something like that. I would just have to do less other things, but I wouldn't mind it, because that's honestly the best thing I'm doing in my life right now in work is Monsters. You know, I get to do other covers and stuff for other people. The Spawn 77, I can't wait to have out, but Monsters is where my heart is, and it'll always be like that. So that's what I want to make sure we give the fans a good amount in 26. So
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. And Mark, we've been at it for 2 hours and 46 minutes. I have one final thing that I want to put to you before we leave this realm. I want to give you mentioned we talked about backstage, but I think one of the things you're most proud about is a character called Markman.
Yes.
Which you were finally able to introduce via the blind bags, wasn't it, for the winter?
Yeah, it was an exclusive for Monsters 8. So you couldn't get them in the blind bags, but you can get them.
Oh, you can't.
Right. I would have done it for that, but I was like, honestly, the reason I didn't, because I had them done at that time. I saw what people did with Monster and the Wolf, where they would take a cover and they're like, got that cover already, and throw it on the ground. And I'm like, I don't want to see that happen to this. So I said, we're only going to make 250 of each. And because these are special to me. And we sold them the other night on eBay Live. We have some more left. We'll probably drop after Christmas, you know. But the one on the left is the actual, we scanned in at 600 DPI, my notebook from high school. And nothing else. I didn't go back and change anything on it. I left all the little stuff like it is. And that just means so much to me, because I remember doing it. I still have the notebook, and I'm like, never did I think that would ever be a cover on a comic book one day. And I'm like, dude, the 17-year-old, 16-year-old in me is smiling that people want to buy that. That's crazy, you know, but that's just it's awesome.
Mark, can I ask a question? So the little scroll where it says Spears 92.
Yep.
That is very Todd McFarlane. That
Oh
is to
yeah.
me.
Oh, all of it. I mean, even the cape I tried to make like Todd. That's not that gear, right? So and you know, I just thought, oh, I'm going to make this character red and black and yellow, and put a little sign on it that looks similar to Batman, you know, this little M. And but you know, I'm a kid, and that's what I thought. Oh, this is neat. I got my own superhero. And that's why it sums up a lot to me on that cover on the left, because you could see that kid dreamed of being like a Todd McFarlane, and I get to work with Todd, and that is a dream come true. So then I said I was going to design the costume differently now, because, you know, that was back then. But I was like, nah, I'm going to do it the same way that I did then. So that's why I did the one on the right earlier this year. And you know what? There's been so much love to this. I'm thinking I'm going to do a Markman one shot this year.
Yeah, well, that's what I was. I mean, you mentioned that.
Yeah, I don't. If people don't buy it, I'm good. I'm fine if they don't want to buy it. I'm like, I want to do it. It's a me thing, right? I want to do it for me. I want to do it because I had this whole story back then. I'm like, I'm going to do that, you know. And if we only sell 100 copies, so be it. I'll be happy. But I want to do a one shot of Markman some point this year and add him to the Monsters universe. But it tickled me so much to have like the Monsters logo behind him in the foil, because I'm like, wow, this is all just like full circle, man. It's like my character back then is in my Monsters comic. Yeah. Dude, I mean, I have wept some tears over this. It's just because it's so, you know, we've had these conversations before, how so surreal everything is, and how the success and everything. And to be able to go and do the Markman thing was just wow. I couldn't ask for a better end to the 8-issue run of Monsters and the end to 2025, which was a phenomenal year, man. I got to meet so many great people. I got the comic really took off in 25, and I can't wait for 26. I cannot wait to see what we all do in 26 now.
Well, Mark, I think it's going to be another phenomenal year for you. I think you're going to go on from strength to strength. Like, I'm so looking forward to what's going to come out from specifically Monsters for me, but also Spawn 77.
Yep.
And to, for you to, it kind of reminds me of, like the Tales from the Crypts series, or they used to be. They always used to be like a guy wants to be a comic book artist, and he kind of like sells his soul or something like that, and he gets to, and then all this bad stuff starts happening to him once he becomes famous. And stuff. It kind of reminds me of that, but you're not having the bad stuff, which is great. Like,
knock on wood. There's no, I didn't sell my soul to the devil, and we hopefully no bad stuff happens in 26. But it does seem like that. It does seem like that way, don't it? It's because it's just crazy to think this all started last September, a year ago September, and still though that wasn't when it really took off. All that happened in 25 when it really took off. It was around earlier in 25. So to have all that in 1 year, and then to work on Spawn this year and all that, that's just, it is insane. It's crazy to think about. And it is like I'm getting all of those rewards, like you said, like from like a Tales of the Crypt episode. And dude, I had bad anxiety about all that for a while. And then I just said, you know what, I'm going to accept it, because I was so worried at one time when all that started happening, where there was more notoriety and more success. And I was like, what if it's taken away tomorrow? Right. And then I'm like, because it could, right? Tomorrow, everybody go, let's move on. Let's move it over here.
Yeah.
Or things like that. And then, like the whole, people talking bad about me or rumors and all that. So I was like, and then I came to terms with it and said, look, I'm just going to do what I can control and put out the best product I can. And if the ride's over tomorrow, man, I had a good ride. I did. I've accomplished more than I ever thought I would ever do in the comic industry. And I'm okay with that. So that helped my mental health a little bit too. And now it's just looking forward to the future and just can't wait.
Yeah.
So, and it's all my fans. It's thanks to my fans, because they're sticking with me, and that's amazing.
I think what you've got to do is probably ride the high, and there's always a ceiling. There's no, you can't keep going and going and going. Yeah. But like I said, this past year, over a year, you've done phenomenally well. I'm so proud to even be able to sit here and talk to you, even about this whole subject. So I'm, incredibly grateful for you coming on here, Mark. So thank you very much. I hope everybody's really enjoyed tonight. I certainly have.
I loved coming on. I told you I was looking forward to it, and it's been great. You outdid yourself. You did better. I'll give it to you. You did better than the last.
Thank you, Mark.
I told you the pressure was on you 3 hours ago, but you pulled it.
It
through.
was, yeah. But my biggest fear is coming on to something like here and just not being prepared at all. But the beauty I'll probably say is when I'm engaging in conversation with you're a great guest, because you mention the things that I'm going to lean into. You mentioned Reddit, and I had that Reddit post ready for you, and I was like, I was gonna leave the Reddit post for towards the end. And I was like, no, I'm gonna have to throw that in now. I'm gonna have to throw it in now. But that's what I love about these
list. Next time, just have a list of things, and right when I start mentioning them, you go, oh, speaking of that, And then you just, because I will. When I talked to Todd that first time on that interview that you've seen, when we got off camera and was in the back with him and his assistant, first thing he says, he goes, "Man, I thought this interview," because he said, "I didn't never know Mark," and he's talking to his assistant, and he goes, "But he said, this is crazy. Mark didn't even need me on there at all." He said, "He reminds me a lot of myself. Just give him the mic and stand back." And I said, because I'm just used to talking on those things, and but that was a big flattery from Todd, and but yeah, I just you get me off on the subject, man. I'll go. You want me to talk monsters? I could go 4 more hours talking monsters and the comic industry and everything, because and I got good things to say about all those things. I try not to be negative. I think the comic industry is looking up, and I think that's what people want to hear. They want to hear good things, not people talking about negative things. So
100%.
Trying
to avoid talking about the negative stuff, I would say. But JSS Booking, who's one of my fantastic moderators, he's done a great job all night. Shout out to him. He's put, quote, "I've had a good ride." That could be on your gravestone or whatever, but that is fantastic. When I started off doing interviews, I kind of shied away from speaking to people in the comic book industry. But when I quickly kind of learned speaking to like the big YouTube channels and stuff like that, they're just people like me and people like you, and like I was really like, I found it, I had a bit of anxiety about speaking to like people that I admire, like yourself, Todd McFarlane. Like my ultimate aim starting this, Comix Creators series is to speak to Todd, and that would be like end game, because but for both of us, Todd McFarlane is our,
he's my number one, right? Yeah. If there's a fire and everybody's in it, I'm saving Todd McFarlane. He's the one guy I'm going to grabbing out and pulling out. Sorry, chat, but our second, I'm grabbing Todd and leaving the house with him, because he's bad. It is that way, dude. When I was talking to him for the first time, it's hard, right? I know what you're talking about. I've gotten to where now, after a while, I'm like, okay, it's weird though. You never want to lose that childlike wonder of looking at Todd that way. But when I talk to him on the phone and stuff, and I'm talking to him about a project or something, I kind of have to put a different hat on, because I'm like, doing this other. But dude, it's still, every time I get out, if I've talked to him, I go tell my wife, "I just talked to Todd McFarlane." I'm so excited. and look, I want to tell you, because a lot of people don't know him, and they think, is he one way, on chats and stuff, and or one way in person. When I've called him on the phone and we've had a meeting or something, he knows I'm calling. And I remember I was so nervous. Do I call him like right when it hits that number, like it's 3:00, or do I call him 2 minutes early? I'm stressing out, right? So I called him like I was about 4 minutes early, and I wanted to check to make sure the number was right there, and I hit the button by accident. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't hang up on him now, right? No. 4 minutes too early. All of a sudden, "Hey, is this that superstar artist Mark Spears?" And I'm like, he puts you at
exactly
ease. He's the bestest guy. I love that I was able to get to know him, and just amazing guy. And you know what? Every single comic creator like that I've gotten to know over this year, Rob Liefeld, Scott Campbell, I got to talk to in person, but he's wrote stuff on my wall on Instagram and stuff. It's the sweetest guys. I don't consider them peers. I consider them way up there, and I'm looking up, waving at them, but they're the most nicest supporters ever. And wow, what a community, man. I thought it was cutthroat in comics, right? Like, one guy doesn't want you to succeed because he wants that job and stuff. But no, all the legends are setting the way for everybody else, and they're amazing people to get to know.
Wow. No, that's fantastic. And Thank you so much, Comics Embrace. Such a great show. Love you, Mark. You deserve it all. So happy for you and your family. Thank you for all you do, MJ. Great interview. Great, but keep on keeping on. Thank you so much for that. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Mark, as usual, you've been a fantastic guest. I hope at some point next year we can sit down and talk again, whether that's, Monsters 9, Spawn 77, anything just to sit and talk to an amazing guy. Please, anybody who hasn't checked out issue number 8 of Monsters, give it a read. You will thoroughly enjoy it. Get yourself some blind bags, have some fun, and have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Mark, have you got anything that you want to say to us before we go?
Just Merry Christmas, everybody, and thank you so much for letting me have one of the best years of my life, man. It's just from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
Mate, you absolutely deserve it, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
James Mack in the spot.